Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint. The boys are in the house. Scott will be joining us momentarily, but it's the last one before Christmas, so Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you so much for joining us all throughout this year, really. It's been another, I wouldn't say it's a decent year. I think it's been a bit of a poor year, but it is what it is. It is nearly the end of the year. But you all finished for Christmas now, boys?
Sort of. As finished as it's the easiest, most relaxed one ever. So I'm not trying to go out tomorrow like I usually do Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I don't think I need to go out tomorrow. I've done, pretty much everything. I just need to double check and make sure. But it's just like when you look and you think, have I got enough? And you just get to that point where you think, oh, bollocks to it. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'll see you in the town today, right? I think I'm done. The reason I got the green screen up tonight is because I've got a big pile of stuff behind me there, and it's got to all be wrapped up. And obviously, if I start showing it on camera, people might know what they got for Christmas. You know what I mean? So I'm having a drink tonight, boys. I got one of these. I'm going to try one of these. I don't know what these are. Some sort of Belgian strong beer. It's a Duvel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's 8.5% volume, for fuck's sake.
Bloody hell. That must be like Belgium special brew.
Fucking hell, you'll be swaying by topic 2. You'll be singing the night away. Get your piano back.
Yeah, I should do, should I? And Christmas tradition, a little bit of Baileys to follow it up with. But I'm going to have a good drink tonight. What are you hoping for Christmas, boys? You got anything on your Christmas lists?
As Scamacca's injured, I thought I'll go Italian tonight and wish him a speedy recovery.
I'm annoyed I didn't get any beers in yet. That's what I'm going to have to go out for tomorrow, beers.
I think that's why Scott's late. He's probably trying to find them Fosters that he's had for the past 3 years that he's been drinking every fucking week.
I'm just pouring this.
But
fucking god damn.
Yeah, it's Christmas. Look, even the ball's got a Christmas hat on. That'll be going on later. Merry Christmas.
But yeah, we got
some
Matt
fucking head on it there. Jesus.
Yeah, bloody hell. Matt Rady for our super chat. Cheers, Matt. Merry Christmas all. Happy birthday, Jesus.
Happy birthday, Jesus.
Happy birthday, Jesus.
I fucking turned 40 last week. I'm fucking feeling it now. Honestly.
You've been 40 a week.
I know, mate. I know. I think I feel 50 though. It's horrible.
I don't mind it. The 30s was definitely my best decade.
Oh,
I've loved it.
Doubt. Early 30s, late 30s got a little bit too much for me in the end. Oh, that's a oof.
I say like it's good. No?
Yes. It's nice, but fucking hell.
What is it? Like
Duvel, yeah. It's a strong blonde, it says. And I'll tell you what, they're not joking. It doesn't taste, like some of them strong beers that are like that sort of what's it called? Volume. Like they normally taste like a bit, I don't know, like they've got perfume in them or something, but that don't taste too bad, but you can tell it's strong. I'll tell you how I am in 5 minutes, but yeah.
You'll be on your fucking back in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I think I might put a touch of lemonade in that, to be honest with you. Thank you very much for joining us in the chat. Do get involved. We will be reading out your chats as we go along. But first of all, we wasn't here last week. We've had a few friendlies, so we'll talk about a little bit about them. But let's talk about, first of all, the Moyes comments. I know that he's got a little bit of stick going into the Arsenal game when people have asked him about the precarious position that we found ourselves in the league. He turned around and basically said, he don't see us as to be in a relegation fight. He sees us to be in a fight for Europe, which has come with a little bit of criticism. But I don't think it's as bad as that, to be quite honest with you. I don't think that when you get asked questions by the media, what else is he going to say? What else is he going to say?
I agree, mate. I mean, if he'd have come out and said, yeah, we're in a relegation battle, everyone would have been like, oh, well, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, it's difficult for him. He obviously wants to say positive, and give the fans something to be positive about. I mean, when you look at the league table, I mean, Fulham are up in like 9th and they're 6 points clear of the bottom 3. So are they in a relegation battle, or are they closer to Europe, and we're only 4 points behind them. So I think I think over the next, I'd say 6 games will start to determine how the league's going to go, and you're going to start seeing teams separate from the bottom 5 to the middle table to Europe. So we just need to be in that mix. We need to get a win, and we need it. And whether it's going to come on Boxing Day, I don't know, it's tough. But look, Arsenal have been away and we've been away. You never know how we're going to come back. Moyes' comments today saying the players are full of confidence going into the new game, and that's
ones that can fit.
Yeah, well, Antonio was picture training today, so that gives me a little bit of hope that he might make the bench. But look, we always knew Arsenal was going to be difficult anyway. But this break might have done us good, and hopefully we can come back and start picking up results because we need them.
The funny thing about his comments, right, is when he was Sunderland manager, like before the season started, he said, we're in a relegation battle. And so maybe he's learned from that, because now West Ham are more in a relegation battle than Sunderland was obviously at the start of the season. He said, no, we're not. So, yeah, I agree with what you said. I think it is still too tight, still too early to say definitively we're in a relegation battle. But as things stand, we're not quite in a European battle. We just need to see how the next few games go. So, yeah,
he's took a risk because, it's been a long time. It seemed like a long time since we've last, watched West Ham play. And those 3 games at the end of the just before the World Cup, that 3 games in a week, I mean, that nearly pushed me over the edge, to be quite honest with you. It was so poor, and the players were in such a bad mindset that at the end of that, I really didn't see a way that we could recover. I mean, we was at a point where I'm thinking like there seems no option here. We keep on doing the same things. Now that worries me in terms of it's either one of 2 things, that David Moyes doesn't think that they can play any other way and they haven't got the ability to play any other way, or it's David Moyes hasn't got any other ideas, which we need some, we've got some fucking good players here at this football club at the minute, and there's a lot of people that was before the break was underperforming. Now I've took a little bit of a 50-50 sort of viewpoint from the end, because it has been a long time since, mentalities can change in that time. But I was hoping that David Moyes would take a little bit of a pragmatic approach and a little bit of a positive approach in the friendlies that he's got. We won 2 of them, and we drew the Fulham one, so we didn't lose. But the Fulham one in particular concerned me a little bit, because it was the same old, same old. There was no change in what we were doing before we broke up, and obviously we had the 2 injuries with the 2 strikers, which is it's just West Ham written all over that sort of thing, isn't it? The 2 injuries, but it doesn't seem like there's any change of tact from Moyes. Now it's down to the players, because it's quite clear that Moyes is, he's either hasn't got no ideas, he's a bad manager, which I don't believe is true, or he believes that's the best way for us to play. Now, if he believes it's the best way for us to play, the emphasis now comes on to the players. And if the players go out there against Arsenal, look, Arsenal's a tough game, but let's look past that and look more towards the Brentford game. If the players go back out there with the same attitude they had before we finished for the World Cup, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. We will be in a lot of trouble if we don't pick up some big points. But it could be a point where you pick it. We're not quite halfway through the season.
No, the thing is, I think it's weird, because we're coming into January and we haven't played for a month, so we're not as many games into the season as we usually would be by now. And I think that's why it looks a lot worse, because you're thinking, oh, it's January and we're in the bottom 4, bottom 5, wherever it is. But we've still got games. But the only thing I'll take out of the friendlies, which I thought was a positive, was I think Ben Rama played really well looks sharp, and I think Bowen as well. And I think
Bowen's come back a bit different.
I think Bowen not getting picked for this World Cup squad has given him a kick up the arse. I think he was a bit too relaxed the last few months, especially the end of last season as well. I think maybe getting not picked for the World Cup because he's looked sharp, he's done well, he's got himself a couple of goals, and as I said, Ben Rama was a standout performer for me in these friendlies, and hopefully he can hit the ground running. Obviously, we've got Paqueta back from the World Cup now. Declan Rice are both they're both back, so they should be starting against Arsenal, which is a massive bonus. So there are some positives to take out of them friendly. The only negatives is obviously the injuries. It is the injuries. I mean, David Moyes said today that Antonio and Scamacca might make the bet. So maybe Scamacca's injury is not as bad as first thought. Hopefully it ain't.
I want to make sense of something you said there, Nicky. You said that if Moyes thinks this is the best way to play, the emphasis on the players. So what you're saying is the players are responsible if Moyes thinks this is the best way that we should play.
Well, they're not. I won't say that they was responsible, but what I would say is that if he believes that's the best way to play, then it's down to the players to adapt to him. You know, they've got to, and if they can't, then Moyes is in trouble. It's not going to be, at the end of the day, it's not going to be the players that get the sack if we don't pick up results. It's going to be David Moyes. So, you know, if he's going to pick that team anyway, if he's going to play that way anyway, then, you know, you have to, you know, we're going to need the players to, you know, perform above and beyond maybe their expectations, maybe their, you know, abilities, but we're going to need that to pick up results.
I mean, do you think he's signed these players, Paquetas, Scamacas, you know, Cornets, Emersons, Kerrers, or whatever, and thought, okay, I'm signing these players because I think these players are going to be the best players to play the way I want to play in this style of football? Because if he has, I mean, you really have to question that decision. Like, so why aren't these players? I'm sure they're not just deciding to, do you know what, I don't want to play your way. I think there's a style clash there with the players and how we're playing.
I think there's style clashes all over. I think there's style clashes with the manager, the players. I think certain players can't play with certain players. It's about getting that balance right. And the longer it goes on and it don't click, the worse it's going to get and the more frustrating it's going to get and the more games we're going to lose. So something needs to click. Something needs to click right away. And whether Moyes has to change a few players around, he has to get rid of some players that he's been loyal to and maybe try a different formation. That's down to David Moyes. That's what he gets paid for. And that's eventually what's going to save his job. Because if he doesn't do that, we don't start picking up results, within the next 4 or 5 games, if we don't pick up a win, then Moyes will be out the door.
Yeah, he's had 6 weeks now, right? And it's 6 weeks to sit down and really plan and go, okay, what have I been doing that's not been working and what have I been doing that's working? You know, and rather than if it is just, oh, I need to try and drill these players into playing my style, and that don't work, then like it's going to come down on his neck. So I really hope he's come out with a plan to address these problems and to try and work around players like the Paquetas and get the best out of Scamacca. So we'll see.
There was a lot of people saying a few weeks ago that there's a lot of players in the dressing room that don't like each other and there's a bit of an atmosphere at the training ground. But the last few days, I've seen the players putting videos up on Instagram and they all seem to be getting on well, having a laugh and a joke at the training ground. And that's what you want to see. And one positive I like to see is the way Declan Rice has come back from the World Cup. You know, he was at Fulham last week sitting in the stands. He's not come out and said he just said I want to get on, play football. You know, he's not. He could have come back from that World Cup and thought, no, I want to leave in January. I want to go. But I don't get that attitude from him. I think he's going to give us everything until the end of the season. To be fair, I don't think you'll ever get that attitude from Declan Rice. He'll put his best in. You know, I know that there's questions about what he said over at the World Cup, but you know, he's an honest guy, Declan Rice, and you know, I don't think anybody's under no illusions that you know we're going to struggle to keep him beyond this season because he's an ambitious boy, and unless we, you know, match his ambition, he's going to leave. And
I think that's. But what you will get from Declan Rice is 110% until the end of the season. He'll play that to the best of his ability. He'll try and guide us to the best place he can guide us. But I know that there's questions about Moyes. I've questioned Moyes, but as I said before, he's owed at least another 4 or 5 games, in my opinion, until halfway point of the season to see if he can pull it round. It could be the attitude of the players. We don't know what's going on in the backgrounds. Noble's coming back very, very soon. He'll be back into a job, so that could make all of a difference. It could reignite that old team spirit or whatever. But he's gambling a little bit with his job, Moyes. But he obviously, by not coming out and playing a different way, I do agree with you. I think there's clashes of style all over the shop, but I do also believe that those clashes of style could make us a very dynamic, unique team. Because we have got some of the best defensive players in the league, like Declan Rice. We have got a really good centre forward. I think a lot of David Moyes' problems. I think he was banking on a different style of play with Cornet, and I think that Cornet getting injured has really, really hampered his plans for this season. I think that he wanted that injection of pace, especially to play up with Scamacca. He was trying to be, as diplomatic as David Moyes was, and sort of trying to bed these players in slowly. But you did see, when Cornet did play in a few games, note the Chelsea game, the way we played changed a little bit, and we was relying on pace, and we was going for that sort of what's the word? What is the word?
Sausages.
No, not sausages. We was going for that sort of counter-attacking football, and
why just Cornet then? If that's what he's playing,
because he's different. He's different to what we've got. Everyone else that we've got is, you've got the hard workers in Bowen and Fornells. You've got the technical players in Paqueta and Ben Rama. He's got speed, and
I think we need more than just because we've been saying for a couple of years we need more pace in the team. We need more pace in the team. So to sign one player with pace, and then he gets injured, and then we just look at it and go, oh well, his plans have been scuppered because Cornet's injured.
Well, that's just my opinion. I might be absolutely talking bollocks. That's just what
But no, whether you are right or wrong, I do think Cornet is a big factor, and I think pace is a big deal. And what I'm saying is, I think we should have signed more pace in the team.
I think he should have gone and got Cornet and Sarr. That's what I think he should have gone and got.
The thing is, with the Cornet situation, I think there's more behind it. I think there's something more behind it, because I don't think he's as injured as what we think.
I mean, 3 months out at the minute, right? It's weird, isn't it?
I just, but you see him on his Instagram every day, and you see him. He's been with the players in the last few days doing the hospital visits and things like that. So, he looks like he was walking normal and that. So I don't know. There's for me, I think there's something behind it. I think there's something a bit more that meets the eye with that situation. I don't know what it is. Maybe he might have fell out with Moyes. I don't know, but
yeah, it's one of them weird mystery ones of a lot of players, they get an injury, then they go get their scans and that, and you sort of get a time frame, didn't you? They'll say, 6 weeks out, this much out, whatever. It's been very quiet, hush hush. Then all of a sudden, we're expecting him to be back after the World Cup. Then one of the coaching staff come out and said, maybe 4 or 5 more games or something, and it's just
is
that what he said? 4 or 5 more games? I thought he said 1 or 2.
I was expecting him to feature in one of the friendlies, but no, he's nowhere to be seen. So it's a funny situation. But look, Monday's gonna be difficult. We know that whether we had Cornet, Scamacca, or every player fit, it will still be difficult going to the Emirates. So you never know, though. Look, we've seen it down the years. West Ham surprise you when you least expect it. You know what I mean? And it'd be so West Ham to go and get a result at Arsenal, then lose to Brentford at home, and that's the West Ham we've grown up loving.
Well, we have got a bit of a mini injury crisis, haven't we? Cornet's
Should we
obviously.
get some of these comments, Nick? Sorry, before we
Yeah,
get
go on, mate. Yeah. Take some of the comments. Scott normally does that, but he's slacking at the minute. He's bunking off.
We got Josiah, £5 super chat. Cheers, Josiah. Merry Christmas, boys. Come on, you irons. Hope you guys have a lovely Christmas. Same to you, mate, and obviously to everyone watching live or pre-recorded. Cheers, mate. Mandy G has a question. Will Ivan Toney be able to play against us? I think, yeah, because he's got to answer the charge, isn't he? I don't think he's banned yet. So until he's got some time to respond to the allegations, I think. So there's a good chance he will.
He will play. He's got to the 4th of January, to respond to the charges, which I think is wrong. To be honest with you, I think if you're charged with it, I think you should not play until you're hearing, and there's obviously no smoke without fire. They're confident enough to be able to charge him with it. I think once you get charged, an FA charge, I'm not just saying this because he's going to play against West Ham, whatever. But I think once you get charged by the FA for something as serious as that, I don't think you should be able to play. I really don't. And I said that, when it came down to the, like the Stuart Downing, not Stuart Downing, fucking hell, he played for us. Andy Johnson thing, when he was getting, being charged with these things by the FA and obviously getting charged by the police, it should be no football until it's resolved, in my opinion, because if he does, if he does get found guilty of it, which it looks like he's gonna, I think that's why he didn't get picked for England. I think
match betting. Someone asked, what did he do? I think it was match betting when he was betting.
Yes, he's been charged with something like 275, 280 accounts of, betting on football when it's well against the rules. But
insider knowledge.
Do you remember when Kieran Trippier told his mate to bet that he was going to go to Atletico Madrid?
Yeah. He got a couple of months ban for that. That's what I'm saying. It's not, it's.
I bet his mate thought, "Oh yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, all right. You're going to Atletico Madrid, are you?"
Okay, hell. Stephen Bund for Bad Subject says, "Happy Christmas, all." Same to you, Stephen. Thank you very much.
Christmas, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you very much. We got good old Steve says $8.99 super chat. Merry Christmas, all. The missus was well pleased with her wheelbarrow last year. Can't wait to see her face when she sees her leaf blower this year.
No, I hope you're right,
mate. Dino says, "Is there any truth behind Moyes needing 6 points from 4 games to keep his job?" I don't know. We don't know, do we? If there's any truth to it.
I don't even think 6 points would be enough.
Yeah, I mean, from 4 games, that's a
7 minimum, I'd say.
Yeah,
some tough games there, though. Some tough games. Arsenal's a tough game, obviously. Brentford is not going to be easy. By any stretch of the imagination. Leeds away and then Wolves away, which are there.
You've got Brentford in the cup.
Brentford in the cup in between that, yeah. But Wolves away when they're scrapping for their lives, it's not going to be easy, mate.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think people will look at it and go, is it fair to give him them games considering they're tough games like Arsenal and this, that, and the other? But we had games that were winnable on paper, they're not.
Yeah, he lost 2. He lost one against Crystal Palace and one against Leicester at home.
Yeah,
and they're definite ones that we should have been targeting to win.
Even a win against one of them two might not feel as bad. It was just them 3 defeats in a week, including Blackburn in the cup. And I think the break come at the perfect time for him, because if that would have gone on another week, we'd have lost. I think he'd have been out the door. Tata Moyes.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's so much. The table at the moment, we've got 5 games till the halfway point of the season. If somehow we got 5 wins out of 5, the whole complexion of everything changes.
We'll all be buzzing.
You know what I mean? The whole complexion of everything changes. Like, you'd shoot up the table, you'd probably be about 4th in the league. But you've got to get them points, and I don't know.
Yeah, points are not easy to get in the Premier League.
No, they're not easy to get, mate. No, everyone wants them.
Yeah.
You have to die for 3 points in this league. Neil Warnock once said. Matt Rainey, 17.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Matt. Really appreciate it, mate. Played 15-1-4, drawn 2, lost 9. Arsenal next. We got a huge ruck on our hands to even get top 10. In my opinion, we got to put all our eggs in one basket and win the ECL, the Conference League, to remain in Europe next season. Is it true? No January business for us. You know what? That would have been a topic to talk about. Actually, we didn't even think about that. The talk about have we got transfer?
It's on there.
Yeah, we've got transfer talk, so we'll get into that in more detail.
Yeah. The thing is, I think we'd all take fourth from bottom if we won the Conference League.
Of course we would.
We'd all take that. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't want to rely on the Conference League. I want us to get in through league positions back into Europe next season. I want us to do well in the league, and obviously to balance the Conference League as well will be tough. But we've got we skip around, so we don't play till March now in Europe. So it gives us a bit of time to obviously concentrate more on the league. We've obviously got the FA Cup coming up away to Brentford. I'll probably say, we're probably out of that as well.
And the thing is, it gets a lot harder in the later rounds, as Leicester found out last year, So if we do put all our eggs in that one,
do we know who dropped in it? We must know.
Lazio.
And they got playoffs yet.
They've got like another round between, so we will know sort of end of the next round who are still in it, the big boys. But I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's a strange one because you're not doing too well. I would say absolutely scrap it out till March, and then if it ain't working, just go for that Conference League. Because at the end of the day, if we finish 11th, 12th, 13th, and we win the Conference League, it'll end up being the same result as if we finish 6th. So I think it's just important that we do get European football this year, in my opinion.
It seems Lazio are in it. There seems to be the bigger team.
There's a few big teams in it, but they've got to play sort of playoff rounds.
Yeah, but there's no one bigger than us because we're massive.
Yeah. Massively shit at the minute, mate. But
he put it on. Mark Rivers says, "Wouldn't want you as my judge, Nicholas." I think it's something about your comments on Ivan Toney.
No, I think that's still it's a professional sport that's worth millions and millions of pounds. He's been charged with He's been charged with betting offences, and he's been they're confident enough that he's been charged with them. I know he's got to answer them, but just stop him from playing. Just stop him from playing until it's all sorted out.
Yeah. I'm just going to quickly answer this one because I've seen this geezer put out about 10 times. Ryan, where were you at Upton Park in 75? Well, I wasn't born till 1984, mate, so I was a bit of sperm back in 75. So,
but you were there.
Mate.
You were there.
I weren't here, mate. I weren't born till 84. Sorry.
But you were there as sperm, so it still counts. Yeah. There you go, Jamie. Old £20. Thank you very much, Jamie, mate. Merry Christmas to you fellas and the West Ham fans. Hope you have an amazing Christmas, no matter the result Boxing Day. I just hope they graft for 90 minutes. Do you think we'll bring much in when January comes? We're going to talk a bit more about transfers later, Jamie, but a Merry Christmas to you and all your family. I hope you have a great one, mate. And I do hope they graft because that's something actually with the thing that came out. Our pressing intensity was ranked the lowest by far in the league, which is very poor. So they would need to get some graft going on. And then Terry says, would love to see Rice and Paqueta as a 2. So would I, but what do you reckon?
I've said that before. I'd like to see Paqueta play more central because I think he's better at dictating the game if he plays a little bit deeper in the midfield with Rice. I think he could do that. He does it for Brazil, so why not try it? But that's down to Moyes.
Yeah, that's it. I'd be interested to see at what shape they're in coming back from the World Cup, and see if they're ready, fit, and ready to go. Then yes,
Yeah, to be fair though, I think they should be fit and ready to go. You know, they've both had 2 weeks off now since coming back.
It's not that as well, mate. Like in a normal season, they'd just be playing football as that,
and they're fresh, aren't they? Like they're still fresh. So yeah, they should be match fitness. They should be the fittest out there.
Yeah, true. Tony Hammer Ryan, 17.99 super chat. Thank you, Tony, mate. Happy Christmas, lads. Always a great show. Have a beer on me. Cheers, Tony. I got to get some beers, and I will be having a few beers over Christmas, and you have a few as well, mate, and have a good one. And then I think one of you's put out Moyes is brain dead for barely using Vlasic, class player, says J Rock Baby.
He had a decent World Cup, didn't he? Vlasic done well when I see him play. So
I think he's not one that you can look at and go like. I think it's harsh to say he's brain dead for not using him, but I think he was a little bit hard done by Vlasic. I don't think he was really given a chance. I think there's a good player there.
I agree with that. Someone just said there, which is a good subject. Rather than talking about injuries, maybe we should talk about this one. What do you think about the Johnson contract talk stalling? Must be another terrible offer to another one of our young players. We seem to have problems getting youngsters to stay at the club at the moment. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know whether it's whether we're just offering them no money. But to be fair, if Ben Johnson is demanding ridiculous amounts of money, then I would say no. Let's don't offer him that sort of money.
He won't like hearing us say that. Fan channels, all.
No, I'm sorry, but he hasn't done anything over the last. I think he's a good player, Ben Johnson. I really like Ben Johnson, and I don't mean any. It's his career at the end of the day, so he gets to dictate what he does in it. But I don't think he's worth ridiculous money. I don't think he's quite proven himself as he's not cemented that right back as he's as the first choice. So I don't know the contract situation, and I hope no one does know the contract situation because that's a private matter between him and the club. But he seemed fit to stall the negotiations. But he isn't the first youngster that's sort of rejected a contract. So something's going on. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's a lot because they've said Ashby again is looking like he's definitely leaving. I see that this week. So yeah, there's something to do with these academy players just not wanting to stay at the club. I don't know what's going on.
All right, Scott.
Hello, Scott.
Hello. Oh yeah, Scott. Well,
Scott just slipped in at the back post there.
Apologies.
That's all right, mate.
Joyce, this ain't my computer, so the missus she don't make sure it's updated all the time. So I have to sit here and I switch it on and then it needs updating. I'm stuffed. So yeah, apologies.
Right. Well, you was watching EastEnders while having a bit of Chinese. We know.
I've been sitting here watching you guys.
Yeah, my Chinese is sitting downstairs, Scott, waiting. There's dedication.
Well, you should have ate your Chinese earlier, mate, shouldn't you?
Wow. Yeah, busy. It's Christmas Eve.
It is Christmas Eve, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, isn't it? It's crazy how fucking quick it comes round, honestly. But yeah, no. Johnson, like I said, I like him. I think I said he could have been he could potentially be a future captain, but his performances this season haven't been great. And that, I think, when you're trying to negotiate a better contract, then the performances have to, come with it. And he's right now, based on recent performances, he's not been justifying it. So if he really thinks he's deserving of that, he's going to have to, dig deep because if he does,
I'm pretty sure that there are about 20 West Ham first team players at the moment that if they was going through contract negotiations based on performances, they wouldn't be getting an improved contract.
Yeah.
And that's me being honest. The only one that I think would have been worth it would have been fucking Ben Rama. If he'd have turned up and asked for more money, I think he would have been justified to. But
he's one of the only ones this season who can stand up and say that. You look at Johnson, what Dan was saying there, performance-wise. Just look at the Blackburn game. The schoolboy defending that he was doing there that ended up costing us the game. You know, it's pathetic. It's children's mistakes that senior, and I'm going to call him senior player because he's played quite a bit, that they're making. You know, you can't sit there and warrant a new contract and be holding out for a better deal when you defend the way you defend.
Right, Scott's had a drink.
It's really annoying, mate, because these people, like, they try and hold the club to ransom to get a better deal because they've got their agents in their ear and their yes men in their ear saying, "Oh, you can get a better deal if you go here." If they want to play for the club, just go. Stop pissballing about and go. We'll go get someone else who wants to play. And this is the problem that we've got at the minute. Too many players. If Ashby wants to go, let him go. Look, he's a quality young talent who could go on to do something, but he don't want to be here. You know, he wants to go play for Newcastle. Let him go and play for Newcastle.
To be fair to Johnson, what I will say is, obviously, he came through the academy, right? If he's still on a contract that is, you know, close to what an academy player is on, and he wants a contract that reflects his status now, which is, you know, in the first team squad, he's you know, always either on the pitch or he's on the bench. He's always in the squad. So
if he's asking for more than £25,000 a week, I think he's having a bit of a giggle.
Yeah, he's a squad player. He's not. Everyone fit. Does he start?
Yeah, but if you look at it, look at what a lot of other squad players are probably on. It's probably more than 25 grand.
Yeah, but a lot of the squad players then have established themselves as first team players in other teams. You know, like Bowen. He was a first team player at Hull. Souček was a first team player at Czech Republic and for the Czech Republic teams, Prague. So was Soufal. You know, so was Zuma. So, you know, they're established first team players. He's not an out-and-out established first-team player. He's been in and out his whole career.
But if he was, if Johnson did play for like a Hull or played in the Czech league, there's a good chance he probably would have established himself.
Yeah, but what's Soufal's on about £15,000 a week?
No, that's probably why he's leaving. If he's on that, fucking hell,
he is honestly. He's on about £15,000 a week.
That's surely really.
I'm telling you, mate. Yeah.
Ryan, what do you reckon?
I didn't hear it. Sorry, I was just replying to my. Sorry, I had to reply to a message quickly.
Soufal, 15 grand a week. He's on. Nicky says.
Who's Soufal's on 15 grand a week?
Yeah, that's what Nicky reckons. I don't know about that. That sounds.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think that's far off. I don't think he is on a big deal.
I think that's 14.5 grand more than what he should be on.
500 quid a week.
Nah, I ain't joking. I like Soufal. I do like him. Yeah, I don't know what wages he's on. I wouldn't mind 15 grand a week. I wouldn't turn my nose up here.
Yeah. Fair enough. So yeah, I mean, obviously we don't really know how much Johnson's on, how much Soufal is. We can only speculate on these sort of contract talks, but you know, at the end of the day, he's got to put the performances on the pitch. That's what we want to see. That's what we care about as fans.
Oh, sorry. They reckon he's on 35 grand a week. Maybe he got an improved deal. I don't know.
Didn't him and Souček get improved deals the other year when, like, I think halfway through when they were with us, they got two new improved deals because they started off so good for us. So
yeah, maybe they did. Yeah,
35 grand a week's bad. I wouldn't say average for a football player now. I mean, it's ridiculous what some football players are on.
I wouldn't say it's average. I think that's low. That's on the low end of. You know,
I remember when Don Hutchinson was on 35 grand a week, and he was our highest paid player ever. Yeah, I would.
This is the thing: is that, like, you know, if he wants wages matching some of the other squad players, then that's fair enough. But at the end of the day, you know, like Dan said, your performances have got to warrant a contract, a better contract. You know, when Soufal and Souček got their better contracts, their performances warranted it. At the moment, they don't. But if they were going for a new contract and you're looking at the way they're performing at the moment, then they don't deserve what they're earning. And this is the problem.
It's unfortunate timing for him, I suppose, to start negotiating because West Ham are doing so poor. He was injured for a large part of last season, and he's come back so he's missed a good chunk of time there, and he's come back this season, and obviously West Ham, including himself, have been poor, and now it's coming up to probably about the time when the contract needs to be negotiated. I don't know how long he's got left on his deal, but so yeah, I think part of it is probably, you know, unfortunate timing, but Yeah.
Red 5 says, acknowledge the super chat, please. We will get round to them, mate, but we can't just keep on acknowledging them as they come through. Otherwise, it just disturbs the flow of conversation. We are going to get round to every super chat, though. We always do.
We have a star system. Don't worry. So we star the comment, all the comments, and we come back to them, so they're not forgotten. You are starred.
The thing is, well, I think what we've got to start looking at is if players like Johnson and Soufal want out, offload them in January so we can bring players in. You know, there's plenty of decent talent out there who are looking at the last 6 months of their contract. You know, there's players there that we could potentially sign for a lesser fee. So, you know, offload the deadwood, offload these players who are, you know, stalling on their deals and things like that to try and force the hand of the club, and then go and get someone who actually wants to play for the club.
Scott, where's Graham?
He's out with a few of some of the old Thames guys, but yeah, he's out with them.
What, Thames Ironworks? That's how old he is. So he's going out on a Christmas deal with Thames Ironworks.
He's turned us
Getting
down.
out of Arnold Hills, all in, man.
He's turned us down for a couple of Millwall fans and a couple of other fellow Hammers.
Easy, Scott. You get his head kicked in. Leave it out.
Listen, if anyone can bring Millwall fans and West Ham fans together, it's Graham.
Yeah, true.
He could broker peace between fucking anyone. Him. That's your dog, please, mate. Please stop spamming the chat, mate. I'm gonna put you on a timeout.
Yes, is the answer to your question, Dasher Dog.
Dasher Dog. Yes, there's a watch along Dasher Dog.
Yeah, chill, Dasher Dog.
You didn't put him on a timeout. You full on blocked him.
Oh well, that's what you get. That's what you get. All get.
Merry Christmas, Dasher Dog.
Oh,
I've just told Christmas. I'm like the Grinch.
Yeah, Scrooge.
I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that.
Don't worry.
Dasher Dog's been sent to Battersea Dog Zone, mate. He's Battersea blocked home. That's what he's done.
I think I can know how to unblock him. I'll unblock you, Dasher Dog.
Oh, Dasher Dog. I miss him already.
God.
Can we do a watch along in memory of Dasher Dog on Monday?
Dedication.
Scott, go on, mate. No, Dan, sorry. Do the comments, mate.
Can we?
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, go on. No, I was going to say I didn't.
No,
go on. Sorry, mate.
Right, no, go on.
Go on. No, go on. Go on.
I'm just saying I didn't know the contract ran out at the end of the season. I didn't know that. That's a very interesting bit of information.
He's one of a few on 6 months left. I think Im Lanzini, Johnson, Ashby.
Not good.
I think there's someone else as well.
That's not good.
There's a few of them, I think, out of contract coming. Quite a few of them.
I was just looking at it while I was watching you guys. I was on the transfer market to sign series in and out of contract. So
I'm trying to find Dasher Dog.
Yeah, take some comments, mate.
Oh, there he is. Look, Dasher Dog, you're unblocked. I'm
just gonna fill my drink.
You let the dog out, Dan Lawless.
We got Roy May Jr., our good old friend up in Texas, I believe, $20 super chat. Merry Christmas, gents. Beer for Dan, Scott, and Nikki, and Ferrero Rochers for Ryan. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, Roy May Jr. He knows. Bring on the Ferrero Rocher. I haven't had
Cheers,
a Ferrero
mate.
Rocher yet.
They're the best, honestly. Appreciate that. Matt Rainey says, for a giggle, lads, give us your best dad joke. You've put us on the spot there, Matt. I think I might have to leave that starred so we can think of one and come back.
Here's one for you. What did the cheese say when he sees himself in the mirror?
Go on.
What?
Hello, me.
I don't think that could be topped.
Oh.
Hey, that's like one of them ones to get on the back of a penguin. Do you remember penguins when they had the joke on the
back? They were the best joke. And the lollipop sticks.
Yeah, exactly. You used to get the jokes on them. That'd be perfect for one of those. You might have found your calling. Disabled team, who we're playing, he's a Leeds fan, I believe. We're playing his team soon. Says, "Hi, gentlemen. Merry Christmas from everyone at Disabled Team." Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
I got my dad joke. I heard that in the kitchen. I got my dad joke.
Is that why you went out to look up dad jokes?
No. I went and poured myself another drink. Listen, right? Why did Santa only bring the letter E, Christmas presents, and he didn't bring the rest?
Go on.
Because I was naughty.
That is that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even understand. I was just smiling out of politeness.
Why did Santa Claus bring the letter E Christmas presents but not the others? Because they was naughty.
That's terrible. Because you have to change the pronunciation of the word naughty to naughty.
It was naughty.
Before we go on, but I've still got some beer left. I think we should all raise a glass for old George Cohen that passed away today. I've seen a few people mention it in the comments. Another 1966 hero gone. There's only 2 left now.
Yeah.
Jeff First and Bobby Charlton. It's mad because George Cohen played every single minute of that World Cup, right? He only ever made, I think it was about 30 odd appearances, 39 appearances, I think it was, for England. And to win a World Cup, it's mental. And it's sad when they're all starting to go and there's only two players left now from the starting 11 still alive. And yeah, it's sad. It's 83 as well. I think he was a one club man as well. He only played his whole career at Fulham. So yeah, it's sad. It's sad. I think he was one of the youngest members of the squad as well, if I'm not right.
Really?
It might be 83. So I don't know, but it's sad. It is sad.
Yeah, I mean, they are getting on a little bit now, aren't they? The 66.
Didn't we lose Martin Peters around this time of year as well? A couple of years ago.
I think so. Yeah, I think a couple of years ago he passed. Now Martin Peters and there's been some tragic deaths in there. Obviously, our Bobby went far too early, but I think fucking Alan Ball went in a really nasty way as well. I don't think he was he wasn't that old when he died either. But yeah, only 2 left now. But obviously it's quite relevant at the moment because the World Cup's just been on, and I know Sir Jeff's just lost. He hasn't lost anything. He's still got a record. He'll have it for the rest of his life, and it'll be in the history books forever. But he was up until this year, he was the only man to score a hat trick in a World Cup final. But
win though, isn't he?
That's it. The only winning player to score a hat trick in a World Cup. So
perfect hat trick as well.
Yeah.
There you go. But no, these players will live on forever. Their legacies are cemented for sure.
Oh, definitely, mate. Definitely.
So we've got Smoky Settings, 179 super chat. Nketiah is going to score a hat trick. Merry Christmas. Come on, you Gunners.
Do you know what? I'm not even going to comment on that because I know players that don't usually score when they play West Ham usually score and they usually get an hat trick. So that could be a possibility. That's the West Ham way.
I'm not even ruling it out at that point. Like last season, I would have laughed at that, but not this season. Question for the lads about the game. What would constitute a good performance for us against Arsenal, given the circumstances? I guess creating meaningful chances in the game.
There's the Arsenal game is going to be a strange one because Arsenal obviously are on fire. They were before the break. Martinelli has been superb. Saliba's been superb. Gabriel at the back's been superb. Jesus has been really good. Although I did say at the beginning of the season he wouldn't score 10 goals, which people were saying he would have got that by the end of August. But he's going to get to the end of March and he's at the beginning of March and he's still going to be on 5. So yeah, but they have got some good players. And Nketiah hasn't played an awful lot. He may not even play. They may play, but may play Martinelli through the middle. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But I think if we can keep the midfield quiet, which I think we've got the players to keep them quiet. Declan Rice comes back and has a stormer. he could well keep Odegaard and Xhaka quiet because they've got a few goals from midfield this year. Souček having a good game would be important. I think we could stifle them. I think we can. I know people are going to laugh at me, but Arsenal are a good football playing team. That I think if our defence has a good game, we've got a chance. That's what I would say.
That's the only thing that worries me though is the back four because it's who's going to be fit and how's he going to play it. Because obviously Aguerd ain't going to be fit. Zuma's going to be out. I'm not sure about Kehrer. I'm not whether he's going to play centre back or not. Obviously, you got Dalton Ogbonna, but the only thing that worries me, and I see it in the friendly games, Ogbonna's too slow. Ogbonna's too slow for me now. If he's not positioned right and he gets caught out of position, he doesn't catch up with a striker. That's the only thing that worries me. But look, he might play.
Hopefully, Aguerd though, it could be fit, couldn't he? Could he play?
He's a possibility, isn't he, Aguerd?
He might. Yeah, let's fingers crossed. Let's hope because he had a good World Cup up until he got.
He had an amazing World Cup.
And it was good for us. It was just like Morocco had a great World Cup. They were one of the highlights of the World Cup for me.
Smokey.
It's just luck though that he starts performing, and his performances for Morocco were good, and he looked fit, and then he pulled up in the last 16 game, I think he pulled up in.
Yeah,
and just when things were looking, you're thinking, all right, with the injuries to Zuma and that, but yeah. It's going to be tough. No matter how we perform against Arsenal, we always seem to be losing.
Smokey said I forgot about Thomas Partey and Ben White. I didn't forget about him. I'm just not name checking every fucking Arsenal player. We're not on Arsenal channel.
Will Ben White play? That's the other question for them.
Well, he's fit. He's fit. He only got sent home because he fell out with the coach because he whatever it was.
Yeah.
And, for him to walk out on a World Cup squad for me. I doubt he'll ever get back in the England squad.
No. Yeah, well, that's it.
There's millions of people that would love to play for their country. If you're not happy with a training session and you want to go home because of that, then you don't deserve to play for England ever again, in my opinion. Don't care how good you are.
Red 5 said about super chat. Have we seen the super chat from Red 5? I ain't seen any super chat from
Red
him.
5's one.
Yeah.
Have we missed Red 5s?
Yes, we did. Look, there he goes.
Oh, sorry, Red 5 for 49 super chat. Sorry to sound like the most negative fan out there, but I'll be there every week. But the players have down tools. Moyes has served his purpose. I don't think that makes you the most negative fan, mate. These days, that's quite moderate, based on what I have a lot of fans feel, mate. But I really appreciate that. But hopefully,
I don't think the players are down tools because I think that the players do respect David Moyes. I just think it's just not working at the moment. Obviously, it's not working. So something needs to click, needs to change. I don't think the players are ever down tools. They're professional players that want to win, more for their pride, really. They don't want to be losers.
Yeah, I'm with what you guys said a bit earlier before I come on. I was watching and you said there doesn't seem to be a togetherness in the squad at the minute. I know what you're saying with the what you were saying with the Instagrams and things like that, and you see the video of Ogbonna being pushed around in the laundry.
That made me laugh because Ogbonna looked so happy being pushed around.
I was hoping he weren't going to do his back in or something.
Yeah. It's just the way he was smiling as he was pushing him. I love Ogbonna.
We just don't seem to we don't seem to have that togetherness we had last season. For me,
we've lost a few characters, in we on the coaching staff and in the changing room. So it's down to the players to get that back. And as I said, Declan Rice has come back with the right attitude for me. Perfect attitude. Just what I want to see from the captain of our football club. I
wouldn't say down tools though. I wouldn't say down tools. Are they? You can't down tools halfway through a season. If it was towards the end of the season, then you could say, yeah, they've down tools. They haven't down tools.
A lot of fans were saying, ones we interviewed even on our channel, that they feel like they're not playing for the manager. I don't think that's down in tools. That's just
maybe that might be something to do with because the World Cup was coming up, and some of them didn't want to get injured. Some of them didn't want to miss out on going to the World Cup. So you might see
why you don't have a mid-season World Cup.
Yeah, you might see when the players come back, because I know that Paqueta got a lot of stick from West Ham fans about his attitude on the pitch. you might see a different player now that he's not got that World Cup on his mind and he's just fully focused on West Ham now.
I'm hoping to see Moyes use him as a different player. You know what I mean? We've got that. You saw in the World Cup what he can do playing in that deeper line midfield.
What do you want him to do? Whack a big wig on him and stick
No.
I
want him to use the player.
I'm joking, Scott. It's Christmas.
No, I'm not. It's just saying. I want him to see, playing in that centre midfield alongside Declan Rice. Put a number 10 in a number 10 role.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Play him a little bit deeper. Let him get on the ball. Let him look forward, dictate the game. Let players like Ben Rama, Fornals drop off and try to pick up the ball. Obviously Scamacca's injured, but whoever's up top. I think maybe we might see Bowen up top against Arsenal.
Yeah. If
obviously Antonio and Scamacca's out. But there was pictures of Antonio training today, so we might see him.
That's the thing is, if he's getting the right, if he needs to get the balance in that midfield right, I think if he can do that and we can dominate midfields, we've got the players there to potentially do it. We've got to stop playing Souček. It's time he's out of the side. We've got to stop playing Downs as a number 10. These are the things that I think turn a lot of people on Moyes because he's putting square pegs in round holes again. Asking Downs to play that number 10 role the way he did was just ridiculous. The guys, the kid's an oldie midfielder, and we were asking him to play that number 10 just because it worked for Nobes in a few games. You can't be doing that. We've got a team full of number 10s, and we seem to play them all out wide, and then want to put an oldie midfielder in the number 10.
Yes, I make you right, Scott.
Why don't we bring the transfer talk a bit forward and get into some of that? It's a bit of a juicy topic, and a lot of people have been asking about our thoughts on the transfer window. Someone alluded earlier to the fact that the stories have come out that we probably won't spend, or Moyes has said we're not spending in January. Which the thing is, this is probably like probably the first January in a long time where I'm looking at it and going, I'm really not fussed if we spend, because the problems for me in this squad, I can't see being solved with more signings and more money. If Soufal goes and Johnson goes, we need to replace players that are going out. But I don't see how a new player just fixes it.
I mean, if anything's going to happen, I agree. I can't see us spending much, if anything. But it'll probably be a couple of loans. I mean, if Soufal does leave, I know there's a lot of talks about Wan-Bissaka coming in on loan, which I think would be a good signing.
I think that'd be, to be honest with you, a few people, I said this a little while ago, with him looking to leave Man United, man, I think he'd be brilliant for us. I really do.
I think he'd be a good signing. I watched him the other night in the Cup, and he played really well. He set up I think it was their first goal when Eriksen scored, when he cut it back for him. He was decent at Palace. That's what got him the big move to United. It hasn't worked out for him, but there's still a good player in him. So, and we know what Moyes is like. He can get the best out of players sometimes, like he did with Lingard and like Dawson and players like that. So you never know. That's only if Soufal does leave.
But the thing is, if you look at, obviously Dawson wants out, then he wants to move back up north. So you've got to look to be replacing him. I think you are right. I think Wan-Bissaka would be a good signing if Soufal or Johnson go or are looking to go. But as I said, if they're looking to go in the summer, we've got to start looking at replacements. So if we've got the opportunity to get a player like Wan-Bissaka on the cheap, then go for it. You've always got the opportunity to offload players on loan. If, as I said earlier on, if players don't want to be here, then let's get rid of them now and bring in players that are gonna put the shift in, put the fight in.
I'll tell you something now, mate. If Harry Maguire come available, I would be all over that as well. Yeah.
And the thing is, you've got to also look at some of the players at the bigger clubs who are out of favour a little bit. Like the when we brought Lingard in, his career was stalling. There's players there that in that sort of situation that could do with a 6-month loan deal, getting away from their parent club. Sancho, he's a prime example. There's obviously Ten Hag has sent him away to train by himself. Why not go for a cheeky loan bid for 6 months? It benefits the player, it benefits us, it benefits United. You've got to be looking at players like that who are not getting the game time that they want, but would do a good job for us.
I think, we should only really be looking at loan deals because say Maguire came available, right? And they said, give us 30 million or 35 million for Maguire, and we spent that money. And Maguire, I think, would suit David Moyes quite well. I think he'd fit in well to a Moyes team. But Moyes doesn't turn it around, gets the sack. We get a new manager in who Maguire doesn't suit. And then we've got problems.
I don't think he wouldn't suit it. I don't think Maguire is the type of player that wouldn't suit any manager. He's a good defender. He's a good. He was one of the defenders of the World Cup. He was one of the best defenders at the World Cup.
Yeah, he suits City. Yeah, because he suits Southgate. He plays well for Southgate.
Yeah, but he's an old school defender. I don't think. You know. I think the pressure at Man United gets to him. I think playing with certain players gets to him. You know. I think he's made a scapegoat by a lot of mistakes from other players as well. I really do. I do think that, and I think Maguire would be. I think he'd be perfect at a club like us. I think he'd thrive again.
I think he would under Moyes, but I don't think it teams that play their defenders maybe a bit higher up the pitch, maybe we press a bit higher. Teams like that, I don't think he can play that system. I think he is better playing deep. Or playing in, a back five or something like that. I think that's where he shines. I think if we did have a more attacking-minded manager who wanted to play, a bit more of a higher press, I think he might struggle again. I think part of it is probably pressure as well, but I think part of it is he's just doesn't seem to suit Man United at all.
But it's the players that he's going to have around him. You look once Aguerd's fit and playing. Aguerd is the type of player who's got a bit of pace about him that can play with someone like Maguire. Kehra's no slouch.
But
and this is the thing. You look at we look at Ogbonna and Dawson now pushing towards the end of their careers, losing. They're not the quickest. Dawson, old-fashioned centre half, getting stuck in. Ogbonna very technical. But if you're looking to replace them players, Aguerd is a perfect replacement for the pair of them because there's more about his game. He ain't a tough tackling defender like you get with Dawson. It's just unfortunate at the typical West Ham way that he's had his problems with injuries. Kehra, again, is another one. Kehra's been a bit hit and miss this season, but you can see there's a quality player in there. You could put someone like Maguire in there with him.
That kills that, though, doesn't it? 300k a week? Nah. No way.
Again, the thing is, though, a cheeky 6-month loan deal.
No, it's a loan deal, but
he ain't on 300 grand a week. No way is he on 300 grand.
He probably is on something ridiculous like
that. I bet he ain't. Probably ain't on 300 grand a week.
He's the Manchester United captain. There's no way he's on a wage that we would be willing to pay. No chance.
But this is what I'm saying. This is why you've got to be looking at players like Wan-Bissaka. Like you said, 6 months. I think he's got 6 months left on his deal. Suited a team like Palace. There's a lot of comparisons to us and Palace at the time he was there. So
your mate's just come back from Australia looking for a club. Charlie Austin. Should we take him for the rest of the season?
He's got no ligaments in his right dick.
It's going to be interesting though.
Yeah, it's one of those.
I'm with Dan though. I don't think we need too much adding to the squad.
No,
I think it would just cause. I think as it stands now, it just causes more problems.
I think
we're having problems bidding the ones in that we've already got.
I can just see a couple of loan deals coming in if we sell anyone or let anyone go. So,
yeah, if I'm the board, I wouldn't be giving Moyes any more money in January because I'd be like, look, we've given you 170 million. Show us that you can get that money working before we then throw more money onto it. He's all the signings he's made so far, and I like the signings. I haven't had a problem with any of the signings, but he hasn't got the best out of them. Mm-hmm. So we have to prove he's got to get the best out of these before then we go and say here's another 30 million here on a player.
That is the thing. It's one of those where I think we've got to sell to be able to buy.
Yeah, and that's to me that's fair enough, but. I think you're right.
I think we have as well. I think we've got too much shit in the club at the minute. I honestly do. Too much players that are not going to get game time, who don't feel like they belong here and all that sort of thing. At the end of the day, going back to the Johnson situation. If you don't want to be here, fuck off.
Yeah,
let someone come in that does want to be here.
And that's the thing. You think when Moyes signed the signings, like he turned around and said we're in a transition. He wants to try and change the way we're playing and all that, and it's just not worked out. He has to take some of the blame for that. You know, like what you were saying earlier with the signings that we made. You know, if Moyes made them signings, if they don't work, that's Moyes' fault. It's not the players' fault. It's Moyes' fault. So he has to fall on his sword, unfortunately, when it comes to it. But if he's brought them players in to change, then get rid of the players that don't want to be here. Bring in some other players. As I said, there's plenty out there that are looking to run down their contracts at their current clubs. Clubs will be looking to get rid of them for a fee, you know, so they make some money on them, don't lose them for nothing. There'll be players there who can work. Chiore, look, he ain't playing brilliantly at Wolves, but he's a player that I feel that Moyes will get better out of because he's another type of Antonio type player. Big, strong, quick.
Knowing us, we're signing Ivan Toney and he get banged up.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. These players like him are the players we miss out on that we're linked with. Diaz, I'm sure Diaz at Blackburn, he's got 6 months left of his deal. You know, the guy come on and ripped us to pieces against Blackburn. Why are we not going in for a player like him?
I don't know, mate. I don't even know what we need at the moment. Like, because you don't know how long Scamacca's going to be out for. Personally, even if Scamacca's fit and Antonio's fit, I still think we need another striker in now.
Yeah, we do, mate. We need another striker. We need a backup option because we can't keep looking at Antonio as a backup option. You know, the guy's a winger. We need to stick him back out on the wing when we want to be more direct. They said, look, we signed Cornet because he had pace, he had directness, and you know, he's injured. But we've got Antonio who's direct playing out on the wing. So give him a chance out there. Samaka's not going to do any good for us unless we play higher up the pitch. We've got to press higher. We've got to be higher up the pitch. If we keep playing a negative system and the deep line football and trying not to get beat, which we probably will see against Arsenal, you know, it's not going to work. And Samaka's not going to work out. It'll just be like Hilaire. And this is the problem we got.
One thing, I mean, we've got some super chats to go through, so I'm sure we're going to go through them. But just before we take them, I want to move the subject on a little bit to David Gold. I mean, David Gold has come out and this is a good one. He's rewritten his book apparently, and he's added
by the way, this ain't the first time.
He's added some chapters to his book, and it's a couple of very, very. I mean, I think, to be honest with you, I think he's mad doing this at this time of year. And at the point we're at now,
Nick, I'm just going to go get another drink. I'm going to listen to you, but I'm
no, it's all right, mate. No worries. He said he finds the money accusations that he hasn't spent money irksome, which I believe means he can't really believe what he's hearing. And he's also defending his board's record at West Ham, claiming they have achieved every one of the targets they set himself back in May 2010, which I think. I was a bit baffled by this timing, because out of all of the times at West Ham when we have had a go at the board, at this particular moment in time, even though we're doing poorly, no one's having a go at the board. No one's having a go at their spending. No one's sort of blaming them. They've sort of gone back into their shell and sort of like made themselves a little bit invisible over the past couple of years. Now, why you would come out, you know, and be quiet during 2 years of I would say bliss, really, to what we've achieved in the last 2 years, to what we normally and be quiet then all of a sudden when we go back to, you know, performing badly, to come out and start, you know, digging up 2018 again, and then saying that they've achieved everything that they wanted to achieve back in 2010s, which I would say, if you've honestly achieved what you've set yourself back in 2010, then you've lied to us in the last 5 years, because we certainly haven't got a world-class stadium. We certainly, for a long time, didn't have a world-class. So we still haven't got a world-class team. We certainly haven't.
We ain't played Champions League football.
We haven't played Champions League football. We certainly haven't competed with the likes of Real Madrid and Bayern Munich for transfers. So was what they promised themselves privately different to what they promised us publicly when they wanted us to buy season tickets in a new place? I think it's a mad time to be doing this sort of thing.
There's a massive own goal from Gold, and I think it puts into perspective that everyone sort of has said to Gold is like he's the good one, and he's the real West Ham fan. It's Sullivan, he's the bastard. But I've always thought that Gold was just as bad, and like you said, that this timing, bringing attention to yourself when things are going bad and no one's talking about you, is madness. This should be the time that he's putting positivity out into the club, getting the fans, on side and trying to cool the fires. But he's flaming the fires or fanning the flames of discontent. So maybe it's a tactic to take heat pressure off of Moyes and put it on himself. If that is, I don't give him that much credit, Cold, but maybe that's
Dan,
it. But...
Dan, you read my mind, mate. At the end of the day, it's the perfect time for him to come out because it deflects the flak. And I think the board are very good. Give them their due. They're very good at some things. And I think the timing of this is perfect. It's trying to deflect from Moyes, from the team. It's a good PR stunt.
I don't know. Yeah, but that's what I don't know whether that's intentional or this was just his way of trying to boost sales. And
these guys don't get as rich as they get, mate, without knowing what they're doing.
But you say that, but look at some of the decisions they've made over the past 10 years. I mean, not all of them have been genius.
But they're still rich.
But again, if he's rich, it comes down to money, doesn't it? And then maybe he's just trying to boost sales of his book again. Oh, if I had a couple of chats,
that's it. Once again, it's the right timing.
Controversy, mate, sells. It does.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people now are talking about it.
There's no. What is it? What's the old saying?
You can't put
publicity is good publicity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just, but it said it detracts some of the flack away from the manager, away from the players and the squad.
But you know what? The thing is, their MO has always been to deflect pressure and blame off of them and put it on the manager. We've seen it before with Slav and Bilic and Pellegrini's and that. They've always put stories out there, put things out there to say, oh, it's the manager. We even see stuff from Claret and Hugh, stories even in Moyes' tenure. Moyes didn't want this player, he didn't want that player. The board tried to sign this, tried to sign that. So that seems to be counter sort of, it seems to go against what we've seen in their behaviour of them usually trying to sort of make themselves out to be the good guys, and they're trying to do their best, and it's the manager. So I don't know. That's why I'm not even as it would be logical. It would be logical, but I don't know whether they'd do that. They're very conscious about what people think about them and their image from their actions over the last few years.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's when you look at it this year, they're back the manager. They can't. There's no real blame on them this season. And that's the thing. You can't sit there and say that they haven't backed the manager. You look at the past two seasons, the last season, European football getting to the semi-final of the Europa League. Yeah, they could have backed him a bit during that season, but was it Moyes being stubborn, saying, "Oh, the right players are not there"? But from a ball point of view, you put aside everything they've done in the past. Going into this season, at the start of the season, they've backed the manager. They've given him the money to go and spend, and now it's on him to try and reap the benefits. And in my opinion, this season, the board have got no flack. The board have got. We can't sit there and criticise the board and say, "Oh, it's the board's fault," because it's not. At the moment, it's the players and the manager's fault for we're in the position that we're in. I've got to stop these blue lights flashing behind me because it looks like the old bill outside my front door.
Do you want to?
Well, while you've done that, I've upped the game. I've got the grey goose out because it's Christmas. It's Christmas. I'm out
Christmas
of beer.
time, mistletoe and wine.
Grey goose is out. I ain't got work tomorrow. Christmas. I'm on vacation. I'm on Christmas vacation.
He's got the grey goose. He's got the big guns out.
Lampoon's Christmas vacation.
Now, I think. I mean, start some of these comments then, because some of these comments are quite interesting. Now, this is my opinion on it, right? Now, for the last, I think this is a very intelligent move. I wouldn't say it was intelligent because I don't think it does the club any favours, right? But as businessmen, they've come out over the last couple of years and they've turned around, they've told us a load of lies. They've told us a load of bollocks to get us to buy season tickets for this stadium. That's why they didn't want anything filmed at the ticketing centre, because it was lies. It was total lies. Now, I think this is a very
lies.
Yeah. Slip a Murray minute in your mouth. But I think it's a very intelligent way to go about it, because they've had some years at this stadium now where they couldn't sell. Legally, they couldn't sell. Otherwise, they'd have to give up 40% of the profit. That is now coming to an end. It's going to come to an end in April. Yeah. So they've been publicly saying over the last few years now, we've got no interest in going. We've got no interest in leaving this club. We've got no interest in selling. Even though everyone's telling them they have, I think it was always their defence mechanism. No, we're not going to leave. We're not going to sell up. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. Now, for the past couple of years, we've had 2 very good seasons. Now, it's a little bit shaky this season, and all of a sudden, the boards start piping up again, right? Now, they've said publicly so many times, we're not leaving. We're not going anywhere. Now, if they start to push the hate back to, I think they've always wanted to be hated, right? This is just my opinion, and obviously this is to be argued against, and I respect everybody's opinion. I think they've always wanted to be hated to an extent, because I think come the end of that contract that they've got with the LDC, I think they're going to want out. Yeah, I think they want out straight away. David Gold is not a very well man. He's a very ill man. He hasn't been in good health for a little while now. I think David Sullivan is getting to the point where it is the same. Now, if you've come out over the last few years and turned around and said, we're not going anywhere, if you all of a sudden put the club up for sale when you're in a good place, you're going to look like a prat. Yeah. If all of a sudden we're having a bad season, no, I'm not blaming them for having a bad season. They did back the manager. But come to the beginning of January, which it nearly is, they've got 3 months now before they can legally sell the club. All of a sudden, if we start hating them again, right, and it gets to April and everyone's fucking like furious with them, yeah, they can just turn and go, well, you want us out, we're going to listen to you, we'll go, we're going to sell the club and all that sort of thing. So I think it's these sort of people, with all due respect, they say that, it's the same as the in and nose. They tell people things that they want to hear at the time. They will always direct, that they will let out what they want to let out at the time that they want to let it out. And
I think that's a big conspiracy theory, to be honest.
Big conspiracy theory, but
do they need to do that? Because if they want to sell,
I think they do if they want to get out in April, because we've had a couple of good seasons. They've put some money in, and all of a sudden, it's not going the way it is. And all of a sudden, there's no pressure on them whatsoever. There's no need for him to come and update his fucking book that he wrote 5 years ago.
And all they need to say is, when they want to sell, is, look, we've found someone who can take the club forward, who can, achieve the ambitions we've found. So we always said, if we found the right person, we would sell.
I still think they'd lose face, because they've publicly said over the past 3-4 years, we're not looking to sell the club. We feel that we're, they've publicly come out and said, no, we are the people to take the club forward. They
did say if the right buyer did come along. They have said that for quite a few years. If the right buyer...
is the right buyer there? That's the what you've got to think with all the COVID stuff. Is the right buyer there? To be fair, they don't give a shit if it's the right buyer or the wrong buyer, as long as they got money in their pockets. I mean, he started talking about, the interest rates, and we've never done this, we've never done that. Taking £20 million out of the club with a £50 million investment. That's when bits of our club for a long time have been falling apart. That investment could have been, so much better. When you look at the likes of Mike Ashley, who put in money interest free, and they've lent money to us at a higher rate than the bank have lent money to us. It's a bit of a cash cow for them. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's a big. It is a big conspiracy theory, but I don't think these people are not stupid. They will let you know what they want you to know at the time they want you to know it. They're not stupid people. They haven't made billions of pounds over the course of their lifetime by being a bit naive.
Although he does confuse Pedro Obiang with Ogbonna.
Yeah, well.
I book you're right, Nick. My Kathy always says that, mate. I book you bang on there, mate. Do you know what, though? I can definitely see when they do eventually sell the club, Sullivan's going to come up on a big screen and go like that. Up yours.
I'd love to see it.
It'd probably be a clause in the contract that they've got to play it.
On the big screen and go like that. Fat the lot here. And then go run down the road with his little legs.
The thing is, I think there has been buyers out there to buy the football club, and they've not wanted to sell. And I've said this all along,
wouldn't they?
Yeah, but I've said this all along with him. They're not going to sell until they haven't got to pay that money back.
Yeah, the thing is, once we get full rights for the stadium and they can sell, West Ham is an attractive football club.
Yeah.
An attractive football club because of the fan base, where it is.
Of course.
No, we don't like the stadium, but for an investor, a 60,000 seater stadium in the middle of London with the facilities around it, you know, it's a big opportunity for someone out there. So hopefully when they do sell, we get the right people come in. And they can take this football club forward, because I think, look, we can never deny when Gold and Sullivan come in, they got us out of a situation, but they've been stale for the last few years, and we're not going anywhere under them. So there needs to be a change, and once that time comes, we can move on and we can forget about this era, and we can upgrade the club and move on.
Yeah, that's it. The thing is, I think if the original deal for us to own the stadium had gone through, I think they would have left by now already. The fact that we have to rent it and it's not costing them that much money has kept it along. But
I think the change of mayor really curtailed their plans on that stadium.
Yeah.
I really do.
This comment here, Phil Brown says they're going to sell the club and Declan Rice. And I feel that if Rice is to go in the summer, they won't be going nowhere until that deal's done.
The thing is with Declan Rice, though, he's made it clear it's not money. We could make him the highest earning West Ham player of all time. Yeah. It's not about money for Declan Rice.
He's been offered it, right?
Yeah,
he's been offered the money.
It's about he wants to win trophies, and I've got no problem with players that got ambition. Every player that kicks a football when they're a kid dreams of winning the FA Cup, dreams of winning the league. Now, in today's era, it's more, I want to win the Champions League. So I've got no problem with that. And Declan Rice will lead the football club, but as long as we get the best deal for Declan Rice, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and that's what I think it is now. I don't think Rice is going to down tools and anything like that. You'll see a Declan Rice that puts in the performances that Declan Rice has always put in till the end of the season. He's not going to be one of them that's going to, I ain't bothered about this club. He's still at our football club through loyalty, through the fact that they showed loyalty to him when we signed him as a youngster, give him his opportunity, put him on the world stage where he is now, and helped progress his career to become the player that he is. So he's not going to down tools and go, oh, you know what, fuck you lot, I'm out of here at the end of the season. He'll keep giving us everything until the end of the season.
Declan Rice could stay at West Ham for the rest of his career and he'll still be an England national. He'll probably be England captain at playing for West Ham. It's nothing to do with who he plays for.
No.
He just wants to win trophies. And if you ask Declan Rice, he would love to win trophies with West Ham. He'd probably like to stay at West Ham for the rest of his career as long as we were challenging and winning. But it's not going to happen. No. So he has to move on.
The thing is, you've got to look at if we had gone on and won that Europa League last season and been playing Champions League football, and the club was going in the right direction with the investment in players, like we've seen with the investment in players, but we were going in the right direction on the pitch as well. You may see Declan Rice sign a contract. Because he's the trophy's already there, that the ambition to play at the top level of football is there. But it's these little things that we didn't go on to win the Europa League last season. We haven't qualified for that. The season's not starting good. So you sort of think in his mind now, you know what, I'm showing my loyalty to the club, but I do want to win trophies. And the way things are going at the moment, it doesn't look like that's going to happen at West Ham. But even if we were to win this Conference League and he were to go at the end of the season, so long as he's played his best all the way through, you've got to wish him well.
I think every West Ham fan would wish him well and would still follow his career, because I think Declan will always speak highly of us wherever he goes. But one thing I would say is wherever Declan Rice goes, He'll never be loved as much as he loved at West Ham.
No, definitely not.
Without a doubt. And there's no, like, I've got loads of confidence in Declan Rice that he can succeed anywhere he goes, but there's no guarantee in that. He could go to a City, he could go to a Liverpool, he could go to a Real Madrid and foul. But I don't think he will, but it can happen. So
listen, he could go to one of them clubs 3 years later, be back playing for us.
Or on loan at Southampton.
Let's take some comments quickly before we move on from this situation. What do you call it?
He's had a Baileys.
I've had a Deville, haven't I? I'm fucking all over the shop. Go on then, let's take some comments.
All right, I thought you was doing it. Right. Ray Borum. Ray Bourne 179 Super Chat says, Merry not tea, boys.
Naughty boys.
Your quarters, your joke is caught on there. Might end up Wolves are linked with Wan-Bissaka. I imagine a few clubs will be linked with him.
I think Crystal Palace are linked with
him.
Yeah, and I could a Palace, going back to Palace, playing under Vieira, I think that would be very tempting for him. I don't know what this was referring to when you started this, but I had to rewind and listen to that again, Nicky.
I think it was because I said that we'd take Maguire. I think we'd be all over Maguire.
I know. I thought you said you was going to buy the first round when we all go out.
That's why I had to rewind it.
I remember the reaction when I said I'd take Phil Jones. That was.
I remember the reaction that Christmas, Dan, when you wouldn't buy fucking Stella Artois.
San Miguel, actually.
Sorry.
Centurion, Merry Christmas, guys. I don't think you are reflecting the severity of our situation. We will be fighting relegation FGS. I think that's F. Golden Sullivan. Like I said, let's see. Next 3 games, let's see where we are after.
I don't like people that are. I find Arsenal fans like this, right? And I know there's a couple in the chat, but I don't like people who talk about the future and what we're facing with complete certainty. There's no certainty in football. We could win 5 games from now and be up the top of the league. There is no certainty. We have to, react as we go. And I think Arsenal fans are a big, big, massive fucking culprits of this. Is counting your chickens before they hatch. We there's no guarantee that we're going to be fighting relegation. We could be in 5 games' time fighting for a European place. When I said that I thought Jesus wouldn't score 10 goals in the season. He scored 5 in the first month, and they was talking about it like it already happened. Now we're going to get to March, and he's going to still be on 5 goals. It's not a certainty, It's not a certainty. They was talking last year like they was in the Champions League. It wasn't a certainty. And what did they do? Got knocked out on the last day by Tottenham. It's not a certainty. You cannot talk with absolute certainty about what's going to happen. We could come back from the World Cup break and be absolutely magnificent, but we'll react to that as we go. I'm not going to talk about future tenses. I'm not going to talk about anything in the future until it's happened. Until we find out
that receipt, Nick. If that comes to fruition and you don't get to 10 goals because they was clipping you up. And
I know, mate. Yeah, the worst take of all time, I reckon it was.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Mate, I agree with you. Don't worry about that.
Ben Big, $8.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Ben. Merry Christmas, lads. Have a good one. Merry Christmas to you, Ben. I hope you have a good one, mate.
Hey, Nick, look what I've got here. Look, Hacienda Tequila.
Oi, little diamond in the top.
Mexico tequila.
Little bit of Cancun.
So yeah, turns out FGS is not F. Golden Sullivan. It's for God's sake. So I'm aging myself there. Frankie James says only West Ham could spend 108 million on Allaire, Anderson, Scamacca, Paqueta, and make them look bang average. That's like Dom's hit list you've just described there.
What has Anderson done since he's really left the club?
I think he's started playing well, actually, again.
It took him 2 seasons then. 3 seasons?
Oh, he's been playing that well, to be fair.
No,
Scott, can I just say, what's Elliot Lee done since he left the club?
Oh,
absolutely naffle.
I know, Scott, I know you loved Elliot Lee. I know he's your favourite player. I still can't believe you got his name on the back of your shirt.
In a 4-2-3-1, what's your lineup? I mean, that's a tough one, isn't it?
I think he went on to say, he did go on to say later, if we got Wan-Bissaka and Semekas up front.
Yeah, I would have Scamacca as my one up front. Aguerd and Zuma. As it stands, even though I think we do need to move on from Creswell, I'd still have Creswell as my first choice left back. And then Soufal right back. Paqueta and Rice. I'm going to fuck this, aren't I? I think Bowen needs to be dropped, but let's take form out the window. Bowen, if he's on form. Ben Rama and Fornals in the middle. That's just off the top of my head. There's probably 12 players in there. I don't know.
No, I think you covered it. It, mate.
Fair enough.
The thing is, the left back one's a bit thingy because Creswell is coming towards the end of his career at West Ham, in my opinion.
He's injured now as well, isn't he?
Yeah, Emerson. The guy's
the jury's still out on him, isn't it?
Yeah, but I said to you when we're sitting down there, Dan, with Emerson, he looks to go forward. He ain't a negative player. He always looks to try and move the ball forward, to try and go forward. His first instinct isn't to go backwards. And when you look at Creswell now, especially with the loss of pace that he's got, he looks to go back all the time. And I think that for us to get the best out of players like Cornet when he's fit, Ben Rama, we need to be looking to get these players on the ball, looking to go forward. Same as Paqueta. Everything we do needs to go through Paqueta if he's playing in that central role. We need to give him the ball and let him make things happen. So I'm personally, mate, I'd start Emerson.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can't disagree with that. Red 5 says the problem is Moyes has no plan B, no directions. He's been worked out. I think that's a fair statement. He has time to prove that wrong, but I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. There has been times where we've all looked at Moyes and thought, like, where's the plan B? He's struggling with a plan A at the moment. So, and this is why, look, wherever you think of Moyes, he's been in the game long enough. So let's hope that he can turn it around. And as I said earlier, if not, within 5 or 6 games, there'll be someone else in charge of the football club.
Yeah, rightly or wrongly, whether we agree or not, he has more games. He has a few more games to prove himself. So let's see what he does. Ollie PRJ, which is a very interesting comment. Have they backed him or have they just thrown players at him? Now, I'd said at the start of the season or before the season that whatever players that he gets, I don't want to hear they're not his players now. It's a case of if you're David Moyes, 170 million's been spent. You either make these players work or you shouldn't be the manager. And whether that's on his head or the board's head, right? If they're giving him all of these players that he don't really want, he should walk. That's a lot of money being spent. A whole team being built on players that you don't want.
I can't see them spending 170 million pounds on players that he hasn't chosen. And
the thing is, barring Emerson, out of all the players we signed in the summer, what one of them wouldn't have you taken?
To be fair, though, with Arbol, they probably ain't spent 170 million. They probably got all them signings on Klarna and they're paying it off. Or clear pay or something like that.
Yeah. But this is the thing, Emerson's the one. Emerson seems to be the player we signed in the summer that a lot of people are like, oh, we ain't that good and all that. So, Cornet, how he was at Burnley last season, yeah, you'd sign him. Samaka, people were raving about him when we signed him. Paqueta, Aguerd, Kera, Ariola. We all want to see Ariola signed on a permanent. So all these players are all players that every fan would have wanted to bring in.
And to be fair, I think Moyes commented on Paqueta. He's publicly dismissed so many strikers that we could have signed to try and choose the right one. So he obviously thinks Scamacca is the right one. I still think I think it's a little bit harsh I refer to Dom the way that you just dismiss these players straight away, because I do think there's some bedding in to do for some of these players. I do think there's still some bedding in. It's a tough league to get to grips with, especially coming from like the French league.
Of course.
It's tough, Does that mean Paqueta's not a good player? Of course he's a good player. Of course, he's a good player, but it's always going to be hard. If we'd have started the season the way we started, I mean, there's just a bad. I don't know. There's some bad feeling around the club at this moment in time.
You don't start for Brazil in a World Cup if you're a bad player.
No, of course not. No.
But the thing is what you're saying there. There's the bedding in period. You've got to get these players to adapt to the Premier League. Yeah. What's the point of keeping them on the bench?
It's not that. It's the personal issues as well. They're moving to a new country, new surroundings. It takes some players settle in straight away. Look at Dimitri Payet, come in, settled straight away.
Yeah.
Some players might take. I've seen it with players down the years, and Arnautovic took a little bit of time, and he's played in the Premier League. He played at Stoke, but it took him a little bit of time to get used to West Ham. It does take a little bit of time for players to settle in. So.
But I think also what you've got to take into account is the new players coming in have come in when the regular players have hit a bad dip in form. That's the other thing. We haven't played well. You're trying to bring these players in and bed these players in, and I don't think keeping them on the bench all the time. You don't throw them all in together, but you need to start players to get them used to the Premier League.
Centurion said Newcastle did not need to bed their new players in. And to be fair, mate, Newcastle couldn't have got much fucking worse.
No, but look where they are compared to we are, Nick. That's the thing. Do you know what I mean? We said that they signed their new striker, they signed him on a Friday, started him on a Sunday, and he scored.
I do understand what you're saying, but there's a big buzz around Newcastle at the moment.
Of course there is, but there should have been a big buzz
around Newcastle.
But there should have been a big buzz around us.
Yeah, there was a buzz when we were signing them. The last two seasons, has been a buzz at West Ham. With the European campaigns. Even that season when we couldn't go due to COVID. We had a great finish to the season. Last season was memories for a lot of fans. We'll always remember that season in the European run. But listen, sometimes you can get signings in, they can hit the ground running straight away. Sometimes they don't. Newcastle will be lucky because their players have clicked. And the thing is, what you were saying there, Scott, is that last season, if one or two of our players went missing, you still got 9 players around you, 8 players on the pitch that would step up. This season, you've got 5 or 6 that ain't stepping up. And that's the difference this season, I think.
And I think they tried to throw players as well at Moyes last January. And he said, no, I want the right player. I'm going to wait. So I can't see them now. We can say they threw players at him.
Yeah.
But this is the thing here. It is, again, square pegs, round holes. We've said it for a while now. So many players playing out of position. Number 10's playing as wingers. Brazil's number 8 playing as a number 10.
Fornal's playing as a winger when he's better in the middle. It's a lot. We have Johnson. Sometimes he's a right back. Sometimes he's a centre back.
The thing is, Johnson, some of his better performances have been as a centre back in a free. It's that's the thing for me is that square pegs round holes again. Someone commented earlier when I said about we've got too many number 10s. You go back 3 or 4 seasons, we had too many wingers. We don't seem to have the right balance. We're always lacking in one area, but then we're overstretched in other areas. We're full in other areas where we don't need to be.
All right, let's move it on a little bit. Take some more comments.
Yeah, I hope we don't get Wan-Bissaka. We need an attacking right back. That's a good point, I think. But he's a quality player, though. Alan Dunn, hope you gents and your families have a fantastic Christmas. Thanks for the show over the years, and it's one I look forward to every week. Thank you, Alan.
Much,
really appreciate you for watching, and hope you have a great Christmas, mate.
You too, mate.
Hacker UK 007 says, have a very Merry Christmas and extremely Happy New Year, boys. Come on, you irons. Cheers. You too, Hacker. I think it was Hacker. Chris Bailey and Git, where they said we'd move and get European football. We've come 6th, 7th and played Europa and Conference. I think I remember them saying Champions League football.
They said Champions League football by 2022.
Yes, and
to be fair,
well,
that could have happened.
They were close.
Well, they've got 8 days for that to come true.
That could have happened in 2016 as well. At the last season at the Boleyn, that could have happened. So,
Chris Mills says they are greedy. They want too much. We own nothing but the name above the door. Talking about the board there, I believe. Ashley also didn't put a bulldog like Brady in charge either. So, fair shout. Red 5, 449 super chat. Thanks again, Red 5. We're in denial. We had our best chance the last couple of years. Rice is going and the team is struggling. The club is dying. We need a new manager. We know which side of the fence that Red 5 falls on. And it's a lot of fans feel the same, I think, right now. I've really seen that build up and I can't really disagree. Snazzy Azzy, question. Who out of the West Ham Fan TV crew would make the best sporting director?
What the fuck's a sporting director?
Well, goes and chooses the players, and it signs the players and all of that stuff. And
I'll organise a Christmas piss up.
You sound like Wenger. I remember when Wenger said that. What is that? Is that the guy who directs the traffic?
Sometimes I think some of these positions in football, mate, are made up by people that want to give their mates jobs.
Isn't Noble the sporting director now?
I don't know what he is.
No, Noble's sort of like he's sort of like that, but he's sort of a go-between between the manager, the players, the board, and he's sort of just gonna get involved in anything. Someone just said Graham, you're having a laugh,
That's his official title though, is sporting director. That's his
Graham?
Official job title. No, not Graham, not Noble. Noble.
And the sporting director meant to be like the link between the board and the manager.
And the players as well. So he's a sort of go-between between everyone, and he's concentrating more on the academy and that. So, yeah.
Sometimes I think it's a bit too many cooks and all that sort of thing. Well, why do you need that? Do you know what I mean? I think you'll have a better relationship if you didn't have a go-between. If the director, if the board and the managers had a relationship, a proper relationship, it can go a long way.
Some clubs have been very successful with certain sporting directors.
Yeah, but then other clubs have fucking fell on their arse.
Leicester, for example, Southampton,
I don't know, mate. I don't know what the fuck it is. I won't be a good one, that's for sure.
I think Wenger agrees with you. Gavin O'Flynn says, would you lads take Isco on a 6-month deal after he got released by Seville?
Why was he released?
I'll take Cisco at this point.
Why was he released? How old is he?
Yes,
38.
Context does matter. Sometimes a loan like that can help, but if there are problems there, attitude problems or whatever, or injury problems, then it's more harm than good, isn't it? Let Rice come. He's miserable at West Ham. Ha 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 ha. We need him. I don't know what club that is.
He wants to win things, mate. He's not going to Chelsea. That's for fucking sure.
Oh, well, can you say that?
Yeah, because they ain't getting nowhere anytime soon. Don't worry about that.
Is that the same home that kicked him out as a kid? Kicked him out as a child?
Exactly.
This is the thing. It's one of them. Where's he going to go? Chelsea may not be in the Champions League next season.
I would love to see him at Real Madrid.
Yeah,
do you know what? I'd rather see him go abroad than stay in the Prem.
It's not. I don't think that. I think he'll have a fantastic. And all of these people, I think he'd shut a few people up as well. All of these people that saying, "I don't rate him. He's just this merchant, that merchant." Listen, the likes of Real Madrid ain't looking at people like Declan Rice. If he isn't a world class player. He's a world class player. And all of these people saying, "Oh yeah, he couldn't lace Casemiro's." But let's have a look. If he goes to someone like Real Madrid, let's have a look. See how he does. I bet you any money that he plays there like Gareth Bale. He plays there for 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, of course he will.
Who's playing music?
The thing with him is that he'll slot in well at a club like that, but he'll do the same thing he does for England.
Hang on. What?
Someone's playing music. I can hear music.
No one's playing music. Their Baileys are kicking in. Look,
was it Drew Duvar or whatever the fuck he was drinking earlier?
There is now a New York in his head.
Fucking Druvar. But Geordie Tune for Life has how bought players he wanted to fit the system. We had no coaching under Bruce. This is all down to Howe and staff. He's a workaholic. Hats off to the bloke. Yeah, I'm a bit jealous, when I've seen how Eddie Howe has done his philosophy and his approach.
One thing I would say about Eddie Howe, I think that's like whether you like him or not, I think that's a good thing that Southgate stayed on, because I think by that time, give him another couple of maybe 1 or 2 tournaments, I think Eddie Howe will be in a perfect position. I think Eddie Howe should stay at Newcastle. He's doing a great job. I think he needs to learn his trade a bit more in the Premier League, and I think he's potentially going to be the one to take over from Southgate.
If he gets them top 4 this season, it's a big ask. That's a fantastic.
Yeah. And it's nice to see, because Newcastle, Newcastle are a great football club. I see them a bit like us, the working class people. The fans are loyal. They've been up and down. Championship, Premier League, and it's good. It's good to see a club like Newcastle enjoy some sort of glory day. Get the glory days back.
The thing is, it's one of those. I think a lot of us turned our nose up at Howe when he was linked with us, and you sort of the stuff that he's doing at Newcastle, everything seems to be going right with him. He's turned Joe Linton into this quality centre midfielder.
The problem Eddie Howe's got is with the owners they've got, he's only 5 or 6 games away from getting the sack. Because if he goes on a bad run, the owners they've got, they'll just get rid of him.
Yeah.
I think they're doing really well, but let's be honest, right? It's one of them things, isn't it? Like, yeah, they couldn't have got much worse. Yeah, they've had a big uplift. They're doing really well. That's like us over the last couple of years. You know what I mean? Like at this position in the season, I think 2 seasons ago, maybe even last season, we were 3rd. You know what I mean? It doesn't guarantee that they're going to be this like all encumbering powerhouse. The only thing I would say to them is that they've got real money to do something with it. In January, if they really want to push for this top 4, then they can go out and try and sign anybody. I'm not saying that anybody will go to them, but I think that'll be the difference. But it doesn't guarantee that they're going to be up there.
I think that's the difference, though. I think with Howe at the minute, I think that he'll have a bit of leniency if things start going bad, because they have got the money then to just change the entire squad. I think the way their owners have gone about their business at the minute is really good.
It's smart. And I was worried about them, about how they would try and do their business. There is a lot of scrutiny on how they're going to do their business. And I said, it could be a point of doing too much too quick. Yeah, but they haven't done it like that.
I think they looked at what City did when City first got bought out, and they threw money at things and it didn't quite work out. And they've changed the manager, got someone in who they feel can take the club forward, and they've invested the right way. And it's good to see.
The problem is, you might see that here. Not having European football, they're not going to attract the big names.
No,
they're not. No. That's why when they went out and they got smart signings, they got proven Premier League players. They might not be the most exciting players in the world, but they've done a job and they've been on a good run for the past second half of last season and the beginning this season. So be interesting to watch their journey, especially this season.
Just quickly, John H said Rice already said he wants to stay near family. Chelsea's a big shout for him. He also said he wants to win trophies, mate. I don't think he's going to win that at Chelsea anytime soon, unfortunately.
There you go. Let's get through the rest of these comments. We started. How bought players he wanted to fit the system. We had no coach on. Oh no, that was the same, wasn't it?
Yep.
I'm not aside that we've read that. Dino settling in should only be weeks, not months. Before we know it, we can be in a relegation battle, and new signings still settling in ain't going to help. Yeah, he does seem to take an extremely long time to bed these players in. Sonny von Tiedemann. Sorry if I've butchered that. Happy holidays, fellas, from New York City. Moyes needs to grow a pair and press up, take a chance. I would rather get scored on the break than watch us sit back for 80 minutes and get scored on anyway. Yeah,
that is the most American comment I've ever read in my life, and I love it. I love it.
That's the thing. He ain't wrong though, is he? You know what I mean? We sit back and get scored.
The way it's worded is so American. I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's a Sonny. He's right. I do agree. We you know what I mean? Let's get scored on. I think I might start adding that to my vocabulary. We've been scored on. Nino 1983 says, has Creswell been given a new deal or is this a crap rumor? Happy Christmas, boys. Thanks for the Friday night pint sessions.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he did get a new deal, didn't he?
I think he's been given another year, isn't he?
Yeah, they activated the 1 year extension.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah, so I mean, how far is he away from testimonial years? You know, what, 2 years or something?
He can't be far off to be.
Not far off, because it's 14 or 15 we signed him. Yeah, so he could be getting a testimonial. But yeah, so we've smashed through a lot of the topics we had today.
Yeah. Ask us anything then for a little while.
10 minutes. I don't know what people want to ask us. Do you want to ask us anything about Christmas? And we've done a lot of comments today. We've really done a lot. Sorry, anyone who's had comments, or it's we can't read comments all through, so we try and give everyone a chance. So apologies if you feel like you didn't get your comment read out. So
while we're waiting there, there's one here that big up, guys. It takes time to settle in the Premier League. Only players I can remember have hit the ground running straight away are Ozil, Sanchez, and a banging.
Got to be Christmas out on there.
I think there's a few more than that, but some players do take their time.
John 8 says, Chelsea won absolutely tons in the last 20 years, Nicky. I'm sure Rice will wait a year or two to start winning with him and his family's club again. Who's to say they're going to win in? The last 20 years has been, they've had a billionaire backing them, and he's fucked off and left them with a geezer that thinks you can play 12 men on a football pitch. I don't think they're going to win anything for the list. I think there's too many teams now that are going to be better than Chelsea.
Here's one for me. Well, all of us. Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2.
Oh.
I like both of them. I'd have to go 1, though.
1 is iconic.
The original.
I watched 2. Funny enough, I watched 2 last night. Me and Jamie watched it because
I like them both. But
2 almost a beat for beat repeat of the first film. Even like the pigeon lady was the same as the fucking shovel man. Do you know what I mean? They had like it was like almost carbon copy, but he was out in New York, but still good. Tim Curry in that film is brilliant in that. What's this about, Nick? I saw Nicky fall on his ass last week in Asda.
That's a fucking lie.
He must have had to get his wallet out and pay for shopping or something. How much?
He might have seen me in Asda, but I never fell over.
Oh my God, the price of sprouts.
I don't think so. Anyway, I don't know.
Should have filmed it. Should have filmed it, mate.
What's your family tradition for Christmas Day?
It's pretty normal, isn't it? Like you wake up, might do the presents. Some people do that. Oh, let me save some for later. Whole thing.
Do you open your presents first thing in the morning or wait till some people wait till the afternoon, mate? See that as a kid, that would have been fucking torture for me.
Yeah, I'll get up. We open the straight. It's going to be a weird one for me this year because it's going to be. I'm not like it's just me and the wife at home, so I'm not seeing my family until Boxing Day. So this will be the first time in my life I ain't seen me mum on Christmas Day. So it's gonna be tough, but it'd be all right.
New traditions.
Yeah, new traditions.
Yeah, that's it. You got to sit your new traditions, didn't you? This would be the first year on Boxing Day I don't go to my mum and dad's since I've been married.
Bloody hell.
I ain't really got no traditions. I just get up, we open our presents, and see where the day takes us. Really.
Yeah. I always have a drink, some sort of drink. You know, mum usually gets.
This is the thing as well. This will be the first, especially since my daughter's been born. This is the first Christmas I can actually have a proper drink because I'm not leaving the house on Christmas Day, which is rare because usually I've got to go somewhere. So I'm loving it. I'm gonna put my pajamas, get up, pajamas, open presents, and then crack open the Baileys at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, early drinking.
I'm eating Roy May Jr.'s Ferrero Rocher that he supplied for me.
I've got to be careful with the drink this year because I'm driving on Boxing Day. So I've got to slow down a little bit. Yeah.
Fuck it. Two of these comments kind of go hand in hand. These questions, so I'll read them one after another. Bill Bagnall says, "I watched Die Hard last night. Do you think it's a Christmas film? Are Die Hard and Lethal Weapon Christmas movies? I've never really considered Lethal Weapon to be a Christmas.
Well, funny
film.
enough, before I was watching thingy on BBC Two earlier, Edward Scissorhands, and I was thinking, does that count as a Christmas film? Is that at Christmas as well?
Yeah, I think it does.
But I'll be honest with you, I don't really like. I've never seen. I have seen Die Hard, but I can't. It's not a film I watch over and over again.
I love Die Hard. I was trying to get the missus because Mrs. was saying, "Oh, we got to watch a Christmas film. We got to watch a Christmas film." I was like, "Oh, Die Hard," and she was like, "No." I was like, "Oh, fuck."
Bruce Willis himself said it's not a Christmas movie.
It's set at Christmas.
Have you read about Bruce Willis?
No.
He's in a really bad place. I reckon this might be his last Christmas.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, he's really, really bad. Like, it's sad to read, like, because he's with like Demi Moore and the kids spending Christmas together, and he's he's losing his memory, his speech. He's like the thing, I can't remember the name of the disease he's got, but there's no cure for it, and it's really like hitting him hard and sad, isn't it, when things like that happen?
I might have to watch Die Hard then to
watch Die Hard.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Gremlins.
Yeah, I was going to say that Gremlins, is that a Christmas movie?
Well, this is the thing. Does the film have to be about Christmas to be a Christmas film, or does it just have to Christmas?
I think it does. I don't think it's enough that it's just set at Christmas time. You know, I don't think it's enough.
When you look at films like Die Hard and Gremlins, they're more Christmassy than some of the crap American movies that are meant to be Christmas movies that are filmed in the middle of the summer.
These awful ones, right?
Yeah.
She's been watching them. These family cheap budget fucking Hallmark films they have on 5 US or whatever. Oh, awful!
Some of them are terrible, aren't they?
They're so
bad.
But
they're all filmed in the middle of the summer. It's bright sunshine. They're putting on like Christmas hats and all that, and it's like, where's the snow?
Shit.
You know.
I tell you what, I watched that new Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell one, Spirited, I think it's called, which is really it's interesting take on, you know, the three ghosts, the Scrooge and all of that. In this, the three ghosts, they do someone every year. They do a new one every year, and this year they're doing Ryan Reynolds. But he's a bit.
You saying about Will Ferrell? It was only a couple of weeks ago. I actually sat down, and for the first time, I actually watched Elf all the way through from start to finish.
Mate,
you know, I've always seen it. But I've always watched it in bits and pieces. I've never actually watched the whole film. It's the first time I've actually watched it. It's a good film. I like Elf.
Yeah, no, it is good. It is one of the good ones.
National Lampoons is just top dog.
Yeah, I'll have a bit of Chevy Chase. Christopher, you lads.
Tottenham.
Yeah. Tottenham.
Yeah.
You don't even have to read it. What club do you hate in the Premier League and why? Tottenham. Just because they're Tottenham.
Everyone hates Tottenham.
Yeah, even Tottenham hate Tottenham.
Yeah, that's true.
Home Alone or National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, or is there a better Christmas film?
Tell you what, I've watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation twice this Christmas already.
Mate,
I think Muppet Christmas Carol for me is.
I love Muppet Christmas Carol.
I've watched it about 10 times already.
Right. I've watched it twice. I've watched it, and that's not like. That's not like me to watch a film twice in fucking. I think I watched it twice in 2 days.
I don't think I'd ever get bored of that film. I don't think I'd ever get bored of it. I must have seen that film hundreds of times. Like Scrooged as well. I love
Scrooge.
Scrooge is great.
Yeah. Scrooge is my Christmas Eve movie. Muppets Christmas Carol is my Christmas Day movie.
Why Muppets Christmas Carol though?
I love Muppets Christmas Carol.
You don't like Muppet Christmas Carol?
I'm not a big fan of it. No.
Oh my god!
I'll be honest with you. I've never really been a fan of like puppets, like Sesame Street, the Muppets, things like that. It's not. I don't even think it's a Christmas film.
My favorite, my favorite Christmas film, right, is Bad Santa. I think Bad Santa's one of the best.
Yeah,
one of the best Christmas
films. It
films.
took a long time to watch that, because I used to hear it every year. Bad Santa, Bad Santa, Bad Santa. Finally watched it, and it was all right, but it just didn't live up to the hype for me.
Dan, I'm the same. I only watched it last year. First time I've watched it. I ain't even seen the second one yet. But someone just mentioned there, Love Actually. I think that's a brilliant film as well.
Yeah.
Christmas
But I also like Jingle All the Way.
Oh yeah.
Oh mate, I went
you know
cinema to
what?
see that.
That's a great film. It's some of the worst acting I've ever seen.
Yeah, but that's Arnie.
It don't
Arnie's
matter,
one of
mate.
the-
It don't matter.
Yeah.
Some of the things he does to try and get that fucking little doll, man. I think that's brilliant film.
And Sinbad is one of those actors from the 90s who's been lost to time. He played the postman who was fighting Arnie for this toy. But that was based on a true story about Buzz Lightyear coming out.
Do you know what? This is a fucking good shout as well. I always forget this is a Christmas film.
I've never crossed it.
Yeah, it is a Christmas film because they're trying to get home for Christmas.
Home for Christmas, isn't it? But it don't push a lot of Christmas in your face, does it? It don't like
it's like trading places.
No, actually, no. It's not a Christmas film. It's Thanksgiving. He's trying to get home for Thanksgiving. Yeah. But that's good. I like that film.
This was it paying for them prime drinks that you fell on your ass, Nicky? I had a shop in Dagenham selling for 50 quid a bottle.
Oh, do you know what? I've give up.
Didn't they got number 3 in the charts, didn't they, Sidemen?
Yeah.
Was it Christmas trimming? Oh, Christmas trimmings, Christmas drillings.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but listen, I've given up with that drink, man. I go into someone posted a picture on Facebook earlier that they've got a crate.
Arsenal on Boxing Day. They sell it at Arsenal.
Yeah, but I won't be able to. It's not for me. I don't want to fucking drink it. I bet it tastes like fucking shit.
You liar.
No, honestly, it tastes like cough medicine.
Jamie wants some. He wants some, but wanted to try some really, really badly. And it's like a bad. It's just repetitive. I go into Asda's every day.
You got to ring Ethan up and try to get him to get you some.
Who?
Ethan.
No, I don't. I'm not doing that. That's out of liberty, you know what I mean? But
can you give me some prime?
But, I go into Asda's. I say to him, you got any prime? I said, no, we ain't got no prime. When you gonna have prime? I don't know. Try tomorrow. I go in tomorrow. It just goes round and round in fucking circles. Honestly, and
that could be like this year's Jingle All the Way, like the real life Jingle All the Way.
Oh my god! But they had crates of it. But then there's people trying to sell it on Facebook and that for 10 quid and 12 quid a bottle. I think that's a liberty. I think that's a liberty.
You could have put it for him and wrapped it up as a present, like a Christmas present, a bottle of prime. There you go.
Yeah, it's just
you'd have to keep the bottle, wouldn't you? Right.
It is one of them things, mate. But let's be honest, mate. In next year's time, it'll probably be fucking on the 25 pence fucking shelf because they can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of them things.
Will be if KSI loses his next fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who he's fighting.
Nor do I, but he's fighting.
Geordie Toon for Life says favorite Christmas record. It's got to be Wham. I think for me, it's got to be Wham. Last Christmas.
No, man.
What? Can't be a bit Wham.
Driving home for Christmas, Chris Rea.
That's a shout.
It's
the Fairy Tale in New York, mate, by a long way.
That's not. You know what? It's Fairy Tale in New York's not even a Christmas song, mate. You know what? I was winding someone up to that. I was going, it ain't even a Christmas song, and I was going, what? Because he loves that song. Now Pogues is probably up there.
It's there. It's there. I've got to say, the Mariah Carey song has got to be up there as well.
Yeah, right. Take away all the main ones. Have you got like a one that you do like that you don't want to admit?
Christmas rapping.
Do you know what I like? I like the Leona Lewis one.
Yeah, that is good, mate. Do you know what I mean? That is good.
I actually like that song.
Yeah, I do as well. I really like that song.
I'm not gonna lie. When I'm in the car, I'll crank it up a little bit.
Yeah, that is a good song. That is a really good song. But I like Christmas rapping. You know that Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah.
There's one this year.
Shaking Stevens. You got Shaking. I think the Paul McCartney one's good. Paul McCartney.
I hate that song.
Really?
Yeah, I hate it.
You've got E17. I like that one.
A Christmas song, Scott.
I like the Die Hard, but they turned it into a Christmas song.
A Christmas song, you have to mention Christmas in it.
The Darkness.
Oh, I hate the darkness. I just hate.
I like their Christmas song, and Bon Jovi done a good one, good few years ago.
Really? What was his one?
Yeah, the other two that are up there that I think have been lost in the last few years are Slade and Wizard.
I like Mud.
Just overplayed them two. They're just over.
I think they got overplayed for many years. But that Leona Lewis one is a really good one, mate. I remember listening to that one over and over again last year.
When Mud comes on the radio, everyone thinks it's Elvis. Lonely this Christmas.
Yeah,
It does sound like Elvis, but it's Mud. But
who's Mud?
Muds they're like 70s. Saying that though, like it's been a sad week, isn't it? Like obviously, I think he's dying from the specials. You know, what I've been hearing is on the radio, or not on the radio, but like people on Facebook and that was with the specials and that. They're another great band. And
lucky enough, I've been lucky enough to see them. To be fair,
is that a Christmas song? Do you think that song? Fucking hell, what is that song? I can't even remember what it's called. But it's by the geezer that makes Tubular Bells.
Yeah, the one that goes.
Yeah, that one.
That is we had this conversation in work yesterday, and that's the B side to Tubular Bells. I said they should have played that in The Exorcist because it would have made it more fun.
But do you think Mike Oldfield? That's the one. Is that a Christmas song?
I think it is. I think it's a Christmas instrumental, isn't it? You hear it, it feels like Christmas, doesn't it?
What Christmas instrument say? What is a Christmas instrument?
Well, what's the fucking shing 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 shing? Them fucking things are Christmas, isn't they? Shing,
careful, Dan. You get us cancelled, mate.
sleigh bell things.
Sleigh bells, that's it.
Yeah, there's no sleigh bells in that song.
No, I know, but I don't know why that song gives me a Christmas feeling.
It gives me a Christmas feeling. It makes me want to fucking light a fire. But why?
Like
why? What is it? It's this geezer playing a flute.
That's what I'm saying. They should have had that in The Exorcist. It'd have been more better. Imagine that when he's walking up, instead of the Tubular Bells, it was the
that would change the film completely.
Yeah.
Keith 79 mod with £5 super chat. Thank you, Keith. As a kid, I was lucky. Christmas presents, Christmas morning, after the Queen's speech, and Boxing Day. Oh shit, no Queen's speech this year.
Yeah.
King's speech.
King's speech, isn't it? First, like it's history. It's history where so yeah, it'd be interesting to watch that, see what he's got to say. Hopefully he fucking pies off his son. And Megan.
Imagine he like fucks up or something. Like
he'd be all right. He's already pre-recorded. It's all pre-recorded.
He's done and dusted, isn't it?
He's already done it.
That should be live.
The only way he changes it is something drastic happens in the next few days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. True that. Schmeagle 316 or 316 says, "What did you guys think of the World Cup final? I thought it was a great game with Messi winning the World Cup. Does this settle the Messi versus Ronaldo debate?"
The thing is, I don't think there was ever a debate with Messi and Ronaldo. I think Messi's the greatest of all time. Honestly, the geezer is a joke. Like you see him, like the way he dragged Argentina through. Argentina lost their opening game against Saudi Arabia. You know, they needed their superstar to step up, and he did. And it was such a, you know, I'm not a fan of Argentina. You know, I couldn't care less what Argentina do, but as a football fan and Messi, just seeing him win that World Cup, it was nice until that silly bloke that sells the overrated steak fucking salt
what a prick.
Like,
do you know what? I was talking about this on Twitter yesterday, funny enough. He apparently FIFA have come out and said he wasn't authorised to go onto the pitch. And he was really like making his fucking presence. He was trying to take the World Cup off the players, blah blah blah.
Yeah, he did take it. He took
it. And like I was thinking, well, if he's not meant to be there, that is illegal. That is an offence, and he should. I want to see how long of a fucking stadium ban he gets for walking onto a fucking field of play.
He ain't going to get a stadium ban. It's all publicity. It's all publicity. They knew he was going to be there. They're just
see him with Messi though. Messi's trying to walk away. He keeps pulling his arm, pulling him, and making him have a selfie. Like Messi's trying to tell him to piss off, but he's just
The thing is, I think that winning that World Cup was just cemented it for Messi, which I don't even think he really needed. But the way I look at it is that we've seen a generation of Ronaldo and Messi, two of the greatest players that have ever played football, and we've been lucky enough to be alive to see that.
Yeah.
We wasn't alive when Maradona and Pele and the greats before that, but generations in years to come. In 50, 60, 70 years' time, they'll still be talking about Messi and Ronaldo. They'll still be talking about that final against France. And it's a privilege to be alive to witness these moments, as a football fan.
That was the thing. It was a great game. Look, for me, Messi and Ronaldo are both world-class players. You can't sit there and say because Messi's won the World Cup and Ronaldo hasn't, he's a better player than Ronaldo. They've got different styles, different attributes, but they're the best of our generation, of this generation. At the moment of what we're seeing, they're not the best ever. Maradona for me is a better player than Messi, and Pele's better than all of them. And I still say if you give players like Pele and Maradona,
think Pele is better than Maradona and Messi.
Yep.
I don't think you can compare.
But what you've got to take into account as well, guys, look at what the balls that Pele had to play with, the pitches Pele had to play on, and the fact that you could kick the shit out of him every 5 seconds without getting booked. Someone like Messi, if you had the rules of the game and the pitches that they played on back then, he wouldn't be able to do what he does.
I don't agree that Pele was a great goal scorer. That every time someone get near his record, he had 500 goals more on the Sunday League in Brazil when he was 10. But
George Best, that's another one. George Best.
Listen, George Best, Beckenbauer. We can sit here all night and talk about players. But
for me, it's the likes of Best, Pele, Maradona. What they did with the pitches they played on, with the footballs that they had, with the technology they didn't have compared to what the players have now and the conditioning the players have now. That's why, for me, they'll always be the better players.
I feel Maradona is the best ever. That's what I feel. He was unreal. He done the same of what Messi does now in an era when, he didn't get as much protection. But that's the great thing about saying about the greatest player ever, yeah, is that everyone's got an opinion and nobody's wrong. Is Pele the wrong answer? No, it's not. Of course, it's not the wrong answer. Messi's not the wrong answer. Ronaldo's not the wrong answer. Fuck me if you think Craig Dawson's the fucking best player in the world. To you, that's not the wrong answer.
Well, I think it means that they're all the wrong answer because you can have a greatest player of all time. I don't think you can have this goat. Fucking this, he's a goat. He's a goat. I don't think
they're all world-class players. They're all top world-class players. And like Ryan said, 20 years down the line, we'll still be talking about Messi, Ronaldo.
You could chuck like Johan Cruyff. You could chuck Dan in there. Like there's
Beckenbauer,
so many
Maldini,
fucking Ruud Gullit, fucking the likes of Van Basten.
But that's for me. This is in a way where you can see what you were saying, Nick, with your point. Maradona took an average Argentina side and Napoli. I think
it's different. You can't compare them because I don't think. Do I think that Messi could do what he does now in that era? No, I don't think he would. I don't think he'd be the same. But do I think that Pele would be able to do what Messi does in this era? No, I don't think he would either.
No, he'd do 10 times more.
It's different.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't.
It's like when people talk about boxing, they say like Ali and Tyson. It never happened, so you can't compare it. No. You just got to go by your eras and what you've seen. And there'll be people saying, "Oh, like Bobby Moore, like the best centre back to ever live," but then other people would say now, "Oh, Van Dijk," but which I don't think is even a competition because he don't even come close. But it's on your eras and like Maldini and things like that.
I don't think that Messi needed a World Cup because I think that's an unfair way to, because Mo Salah could be in the running for best player in the world at the moment. Plays for Egypt. He's never going to win a fucking World Cup.
Haaland plays for flipping
Haaland. Yeah, Haaland's never going to win a World Cup. He plays for Norway. I don't think winning the World Cup, although it it's fantastic to see the best players, But that's like the argument we've got with Southgate at the moment with, the manager's position, and he can't do this and he can't do that and he can't. It's not fucking Manchester City. You can't go out if we ain't got a good fucking player that he thinks can bring him. He can't go and buy someone. He's stuck with who he's fucking got.
Yeah.
And that's the same with international players. Ronaldo, unfortunately, is one of the best players of this generation. But Portugal ain't as good as Brazil, Argentina, fucking England.
But the thing is, with Portugal, they did win the Euros. So
yeah, they did win the Euros, yeah.
And like with Messi, I just think it was a fairy tale ending. But I know he said he wants to go on and carry on playing for Argentina. I just think this would be the perfect time for him just to bow out of Argentina, because he's never going to get better than that.
Yeah,
he's never going to be around to win another World Cup. And in the last year, he's won the Copa America. He's won, I can't remember the other trophy he won with them, and he's won the World Cup, and that will never be repeated. And for me, if someone said to me now, you got a choice of Messi and Ronaldo, who do you want in your squad? Messi all day long for me. All day long.
If he retires now, Lanzini will finally have his chance again.
The mad thing when you look at Argentina now winning that World Cup with the squad that they had, you look at the squads that Messi's been involved in the Copa Americas, the World Cups, and all that, and the fact that he's never won it with some top quality players. You look on paper, this is probably one of the weaker Argentina squads. And
I think it's been a weak World Cup all round in terms of. I think that every team have got their vulnerabilities. I don't think there's when you go back to Spain 2010, they was more or less impenetrable. They had the best attack, the best defense. I think every team at this World Cup has shown great strengths. The big teams. I'm not talking about everyone, but the big teams, great strengths, but they've all had weaknesses. France had weaknesses. England had weaknesses. Argentina had weaknesses. Everybody.
As was a lot of referee-based weaknesses, though, let's be honest.
It is what it is. You just have to take it on the chin. Don't complain about it. We had the opportunities and we missed them. So, move on. I think the debate about Southgate, I would have liked to seen someone else come in, but if he wants to carry on, I'm not going to complain.
I think the thing is with Southgate, I know it divides opinion, but I like to. People forget what he's done for England. Look at what he picked up when he took over the England squad. We were shit. We were a shambles as a nation, and he's united the country. And I know that he makes wrong decisions sometimes, but he's building a young squad. And I think he deserves the crack at the next Euros, because all these players that he's brought through will be at their peak, their absolute peak. And whatever he does in that tournament, if he wins it or loses it, he'll go after that. But I'm comfortable with having Southgate there. I didn't want to just get someone. Everyone was going too cool and all that. They don't want to do national. They're not going to do international football. They want to go club football. Just let Southgate carry on, and hopefully the next tournament in the Euros, which I believe is in Germany, I think. Let's have a crack at that, because I like what Southgate's done for the nation. I think he's united. Everyone fell out of love with England. A lot of people fell out of love with England. The last few tournaments, we fell back in love with the nation. We can't wait to watch England play in tournaments now.
You are right, mate. He's done all right. Like you said, from when he took over from Hodgson, was one of the worst England managers ever. He didn't take over from him, but where we were at the end.
Can I just say, under that, Scott, Wales' best team still couldn't even beat Hodgson's shit team.
Yeah, that's it. But he has done well, and there was a stat with England. We've never beaten a major nation in a tournament outside of our own shores.
The thing is, as well,
I
see a thing that I think the last 4 World Cups before this one, we got more points than we had and scored more goals. Than tournaments combined. So there is something going well with England. It's just we fell short, and we were the better team against France. As you said, referee decisions. They just didn't want to give us anything that night, and that's what happens in football, unfortunately. No. Harry Kane scores that equaliser. We go on to win that game. Unfortunately, he's missed a penalty. It happens. It's football.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Right, shall we wrap it up? Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us on this Christmas edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint. Thank you so much for everyone that's got involved, sent in your super chats. We love speaking to you all. Thank you. And from us personally here at West Ham Fan TV, have a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. If you're new around here, please subscribe, hit that like button, share it to all your friends. It does help. Anything left to say, boys?
No, check out Nikki's video with Lee Judges, which is out now. Really good chat. And if you're a patron, you get the full unedited version. Well, it was edited, but it's the full version. Go and check out.
Full unedited version that was edited.
It was edited, but it's not as much as the YouTube version. So check that out and watch along on Sunday, Monday, fan cams, all of that stuff.
And we will be back next week, but I think we're going to be back on a Thursday because we do play on a Friday this week. Next week, we've got Brentford on the Friday night. So, yeah, we'll be back, but have a very Merry Christmas and we'll see you around for the Arsenal content. As I say, if you're new around here, subscribe and we'll catch you on the next one. One thing left to say, boys. Come on, you irons.
Merry Christmas. 'Tis the season.